And we are back. We are live, everyone, with another group, Group D of 2021 NA Apprentice Season 5. I'm, of course, your host, Light VIP, and with me once again is the infamous casting jersey. It is Kuro. What is that? What is that?
What sound does a jersey make?
You are a jersey.
Yes, hello. Hello there.
Oh god. Hello, Kuro. Hello. Yes. Welcome back, everyone. Earlier this week we were able to cast Group B of NA Apprentice, and unfortunately it wasn't a very big group. 2 best of 3s is all we got. Feels bad, man. But
Feels bad, man. I mean, we also got that amazing game between Tavo and who was it? Vindicta.
Yeah. Was it amazing? Was it?
It was amazing. I will never forget it.
Shaking my head. It's very fitting because you were casting, right? Yeah. For those wondering, we casted Vindicta versus Tavo a couple of days ago, and it ended in one of the games ended in a minute. It was
but the funniest part is there wasn't even anything big happening.
Yeah. Shaking my head.
Send it.
It just ended out of nowhere. So we didn't really have much of a day of StarCraft with Group B, but here we are with Group D, and we have confirmation that every single series was played out, no walkovers.
Yep. So we're getting all 6 series in this group. And by the way, fun fact, as I was looking up these players, we have 1 Duckling on this group,
yes.
but we also have 2 Apprentice players.
We do. You know, exclamation mark Funada Sugar, because he's obviously stacking the groups in his favor. Yeah, as we have now we have an interesting dynamic, because obviously we're casters and we have our team, we have our players. Meanwhile, Sugar is the event organizer, and he also now has his own team, so he's also got some vested interest here. So it's great to see the dynamic play out a little bit. As we can see on the screen right now, Group B, it's a group full of matches, and I think what I like is that we have a bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have all 3 races represented, so we have a bunch of different matchups. And there's no TVT.
Let's go. No TVT. It's beautiful, mate. It's beautiful. Speaking...
I was gonna say, I have to say, the current, landscape of SC2 is interesting, where, in the past it was more there was a team and sometimes they would make a tournament, when nowadays it's there are all these, tournament organizers, casters, different organizations, and they're you know what? We should make a team. Because it's a pattern that keeps repeating, because you have O Gaming had a team, now Koka himself has a team, Sugar has Apprentice, we have our Duckling team. There's a bunch of teams that came to be a thing from casters and organizers.
Yeah, it's interesting how that played out. I blame Team Liquid. They started it right with hosting TSL and having Team Liquid as well.
No, but Team Liquid is the opposite. Team Liquid was a team, and then they started making tournaments. That's my point. Psystorm, they're a team, but they're organizing tournaments. Root are a team, but they're organizing stuff. That was how it used to be, and now it's more in the opposite direction.
Exactly. We've grown enough to the point where we can fund our own players. Rotterdam's another good example. Also, before we get too far into things, exclamation mark Funada Yaku in the chat, because I am pretty sure that Yakuzaku has not slept.
Yakuzaku in the chat. Yakuzaku 1.
God damn it, Yaku. God damn it.
I think team was first, Yaku, because that's where the name comes from, I assume. Someone would have to check that, but I think the team was first, and then they made the website.
That's a good question. That's a pretty good question. But yeah, goddamn it, Yaku. Shout out to Dastan in the chat. Sugar's there as well. Of course he's there. He's gonna be cheering for his boys, and we are gonna be cheering for ours. And this is gonna be interesting because we are already gonna be kicking some things off here. God damn it. Okay, sure. Yeah, we'll work our way through the group. Well, I realized that the replays were listed in a specific order, but on our graphic we have them in a different order, so it's like, okay, which
Look, nobody notified. Okay. Here's the thing: Funara Sugar, because the matches are not updated on Wikipedia, like the order of them. So I can only guess what the order of matches is.
It's
so
fine.
if they're in the wrong order, it's not my fault.
It's fine. We're gonna spice things up here with some Apprentice Esports versus CranKy Ducklings. We're gonna start things off with some PattyMac versus Antis.
Indeed. So, this is what happens when you have live chat interaction. Like, Yaku is already teasing me. God damn it. But anyway, yeah, we have PattyMac, who has been grinding quite hard from what I heard recently. Apparently, from what I heard, like, he has now pretty good connection to Europe, so he's been doing a lot of that.
Yeah, fun fact, PattyMac is currently ranked 12th on EU, which is pretty insane.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he's number 12 on the European ladder. So massive shout out to PattyMac. He has been putting in a lot of work. I think he's like 6.3k on EU, something like that. So yeah, Antis is gonna have a lot of work cut out for him. What is also a little bit of a fun fact as well is that PattyMac and Antis actually face each other in BTL.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember how that game went.
You casted it.
I remember it was. I remember it was there. Look, I am not known for good memory. Okay.
This is very true. Yaku wonders where he got his dementia from. It's from Steel Mold. It's also from Kuro as well. Maybe a little bit of milk. The milk is sprinkled in there too. Like, it's just from all avenues of the family tree.
That's something actually I mentioned a lot. That I don't have good memory for games for whatever reason. Like I'm the opposite of Rotterdam in that case. Like, Rotterdam remembers every engagement of every map played ever, and like I watch a match and like I can remember like the very specific things, like, oh, this was a cool engagement or something. But like, if you ask me a week from now, there's a good chance I will not remember that game at all.
It's true.
I don't know why. It just doesn't save.
Yeah, her memory is just awful. But hopefully there is something memorable about this series, as we are going to be diving straight on in. Best of 3 PVZ Ducklings versus Apprentice Esports. No bias whatsoever.
So Sugar is correct in that PattyMac played Uko, not Antis.
Oh, there you go. Look, I remember it was a Zerg player, okay? I just assumed it was Antis.
No, that was the week that Antis played Protoss.
Oh, he did off race. True. Sugar knows. He off race, so it was still a PVZ, right? I think so. We had a lot of PVZs that day.
No, wait. Wasn't he playing Starduck?
Yeah.
I think he played Starduck. So
yeah. It was a PvP. That's what it was. That's why it lined up for us. As we are diving into game number 1, and mate, take it away.
So welcome everybody to the first game, to 2000 Atmospheres LE. As in the top right corner, we have the Duckling himself, the red Protoss player, representing United States. It is PattyMac.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the American? The American Zerg player. He is blue, representing Apprentice Esports. It is Antis.
Look. And here I thought I am doing like last minute preparation and stuff, like opening all the player pages and everything.
Look, I second guess myself sometimes because I know there's a couple of Canadians sprinkled in there.
Yeah, true. Sometimes I don't remember like who is from which country.
Oh boy, but here we go. So again, we have a lot of hopes and dreams set up here for PattyMac, just because he is the final Duckling in NA Apprentice. Unfortunately, we were talking about it. Unfortunately, Eric was ineligible to participate because he ranked too highly in the Latin American DreamHack. Ryu was, but the weekend of the qualifiers he was actually sick, so he couldn't participate. And Neo qualified, but he was is unfortunately focusing on his studies, and he couldn't find time to play his matches.
Yeah, exams life pretty hard. Anyway, we have good opening for PattyMac so far. He managed to block that natural. So the natural of Antis is a little bit awkward and being harassed by a pro.
Yeah, you know, he's just being a little bit annoying here. I'm really curious to see how PattyMac plays this out, because from that best of one that we casted against Uko, apparently, not Antis. I mean, it was on Romanticide. It was a late game PvZ, if you remember. Are we going to see more of that? I mean, 2000 Atmospheres isn't a bad map for that. Unfortunately, it's a good map for late game PvZ.
Look, at least it's not TVT, okay? It's gonna be fine. But
True.
we do have the first Stargate coming up. I wonder if PattyMac is gonna like commit to air, or if it's just gonna be, you know, harassment.
Yeah, we'll see. So far, there are two adepts out on the map. They're going to be meeting up and trying to harass them, being as annoying as possible. Right now, our eyes are on this Void Ray after it kills the initial Overlord. As you said, are we going to see a second Stargate, or are we going to see a Twilight Council? Antis, he also wants to know.
Yeah, he would definitely like to know. And this awkward natural at the third position is very nice for the adepts, but that said, one of them already gets surrounded and goes down.
Oh yeah, very nice control there by Antis. He immediately does surround both of the adepts, does get one of them, and now they do not have that one-shot potential, so PattyMac is forced all the way back. And meanwhile, back at home, Void Ray finally comes out, clears out some of the actually, I think it missed. No, he hasn't killed a single Overlord, and the wall is not a wall.
Well, yeah, the other was in the wall, but it moved out, and the links are in. They get the clear scout of everything in PattyMac's base. Maybe they will snipe some workers too.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of workers go down. What's important is that they are also delaying the tech. We see what it is. It is a fleet beacon, and what's interesting is that PattyMac threw that down in the face of those lings.
Yeah, I almost want him to cancel it. What the heck?
I can't. So do I. I'm sure Yaku is a little bit upset that he's not casting right now, because we have a fleet beacon. Are you feeling Tempest, or are you feeling Carrier, Kuro?
Tempest. No, I think Tempest, because I feel like it's too early for carriers. Like, I feel like most protesters that I've seen, like, they go like first some Void Rays, or like, I don't know, Phoenix, some other units, and then they transition to carriers. Like, it's not common to like rush straight up to carriers.
It's not common
unless
for
you're like PattyMac.
It's not common for either one of those, but either one of those is an option here for PattyMac. At the moment, he's just waiting for a second Stargate. This should be Tempest because it's 2000 atmospheres, but there we go. It is going to be the more standard carrier feels bad. I know Yaku's teased right now. Like, we always want to see the Tempest, but it's always the carrier nowadays.
Why? Why do we want Tempest?
Because it's more memey. It's ridiculous, mate. Oh god. So it is gonna be the fast carriers, and unfortunately, we got to message PattyMac after this, mate.
I mean, I saw him come online, so you know we got a chance.
Shaking my head, mate. Shaking my head.
Interesting on Anti's side, he's going for a Baneling Nest right now. Like, he's preparing for either for some ground attack, or he wants to just bust this wall.
Yeah, interesting that he's going for a Baneling Nest, but he didn't go for +1 melee. He's still committed to +1 range, and this will help out his queens. But he only has queens at the moment, despite having a lair. He hasn't committed into, there it is. Spire finally gets thrown down. To be fair, we don't need a Spire right now. Like, there are only going to be 2 carriers. Queens are going to be more than enough to deal with that. But eventually, he does have to think about, you know, the rest of the Skytoss.
And the links don't. They keep getting some run bys, and once again, like 3 kills. Like Antis is getting small worker damage here and there, but that puts him quite ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. Because he wants to set himself up for Ling run bys, but because he doesn't have any melee upgrades, like, it does mean he has to put a lot more effort into trying to get damage done. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it. Meanwhile, the two carriers are going to get across the map, but yo, all the queens are here, the spore is here, like, carriers, they aren't going to do anything.
So many queens. Are they
God,
just gonna snipe the interceptors, or no? They're going for interceptors. Okay.
Yeah. They were trying to target fire the carrier a little bit there, and now the queens are out of transfuse. I do feel like that was a little bit of a mistake, so 4 drones go down, but regardless, only 4 drones.
Yeah, only 4 drones, and the carriers are out of interceptors, so it's gonna be a while before they attack again, but there's another Link run by at the third.
Yeah, the Banelings are trying to roll into the mineral line, and they will connect, but the workers were already pre-split. Unfortunately, only a single shield battery, but I think 1 shield battery is more than enough because we have the overcharge, we have a void ray, these Lings will be cleaned up, and wow, only 3 probe kills.
Yeah, not too bad. With the shield battery, it's definitely easier to do that, and there are 4 more carriers here. Oh, are those the 2? I think those 2 are recalled.
Yeah, they were recalled back home. And this is what I was talking about. I'm like, yo, +1 range? Really? Because we didn't even have any Hydras either, so I have to wonder if that was a bit of a mistake from Antis to go for that upgrade. Finally, he is going for +1 melee, but much later. And yeah, I mean, in the end, he is still getting into this more well-rounded army. You know, Ling Bane for harass and Corruptors for defense.
Yeah, I do find it interesting that he got that upgrade just for the queen defense, but I guess, you know, if queens are your only unit, then might as well.
Yeah, I still feel like it may have been a mistake, but okay. But yeah, it's whatever, it's fine, it's fine.
Gotta roll with it. Okay?
Yeah, sure. As we do have another Ling Bane run by being set up here on the right hand side of the map. Oh god, I mean, it looks like this run by will be lined up with at least +1, so maybe he'll be able to bust his way through into the natural. But as the game goes on, we have more carriers, and we are also working on High Templar.
Yeah, High Templar as well as Charge, which may be useful for the run bys, but I don't know. See, like, carriers can deal with the small, like, Baneling groups. But for Lings, I guess Storms would be good, but you need to catch the right moment for the Storm.
Yeah, Storms are going to be amazing. More importantly, like, once we do have Antis go into a hive, which he has, we need them for feedbacks, right, against the Vipers. Assuming we're going to get Vipers here from Antis. At the same time, Archons are actually going to be a little bit more invaluable, right? Archons do work so well against Lings, Banes, and even Corruptors.
Indeed, and yeah, Antis just doesn't stop with his runbys, but they're not very big. They're not that intimidating, and the Protoss army is starting to move on the creep.
Oh, you say that, but the Banelings are going to be rolling into the mineral line, and finally 6 workers go down. We have more Banelings rolling towards the 3rd base, so damage will finally be done.
The Archon moved out of that wall, and now more workers are dying, 14 in total.
Oh god, that's essentially an entire middle line just went down. I also just realized that PattyMac is still in 3 bases. Mate, he needs a 4th. He needed a 4th maybe a couple of minutes ago, actually. Finally, he's pushing out, but honestly, he doesn't have too much supply.
Yeah, he tried to expand in the east, but there were already Links there prepared, and now all this Queen and Corruptor defense, can it stop it?
Yeah, I feel like there's enough here. I mean, there are a lot of Stalkers, there are a lot of Corruptors. Here they go, they dive on top of these carriers. There's not that much to protect them. The Archons are doing what they can. Can PattyMac hold on? It looks like the Archons are too much. The Corruptors, they can't get close.
Yeah, the Archons are zoning out the Corruptors. All the Queens are falling down with the help of the Zealots. And even though the carriers are pretty much out of interceptors, like, the Archons can just zone out the rest of the units for long enough.
Yeah, unfortunately, there just wasn't enough on the ground. I feel like there were enough Corruptors, as we can see, but they just couldn't break through the defense of all those Archons. And PattyMac is going to be able to take out a base, and he wants more than just that.
Oh yeah, he's not stopping there. There's so many Corruptors on this side.
But what about the Archons? Like, what's the answer to the Archons right now? Like, we have a handful of Roaches, I guess.
The Corruptors can scream at them? Question mark?
count
there's
screen.
there's just more coming. There's 6 of them now.
Oh god, exactly. Even if all these carriers went down, I don't know if Antis can deal with the ground toss army as PattyMac, even though he was forced to stay on 3 bases, even though he lost worker after worker, he doesn't even care. He has his death ball. He was down 60 supply. Didn't even matter.
Yep. And look, Archons. Archons is good unit. And there's just more coming. There's this one single like warp is just warping in more units and more Archons. But that said, there's a lot of roaches.
Yeah, the Archons eventually kill all of the Corruptors, but it took a long time for that to happen. Only a single carrier remained after all of that. And now Antis, he is going for a bit of a counterattack. Oh, we have a recall back home. And now we have to take a bit of a step back here and take a look at what is going on. Because PattyMac is still on 3 bases, fully saturated. Antis also on 3 bases. Trying to get a 4th up.
Yeah, indeed. But so are the roaches. Like it looked like Antis wants to get a good counter attack with the roaches, but he actually changed his mind.
Yeah, he would have just lost them all for nothing. Like, we have a carrier at home, roaches don't shoot up, we have Void Rays coming out as well. And Antis, he's in a desperate scenario right now to get these bases up. He's double expanding right now. Like, what I was alluding to earlier is that the fact that we have 3 base versus 3 base is an awful thing for a Zerg player. He needs more bases, he needs more larva available to him, and yeah, things were kind of reset. Even though Antis is ahead in supply, a lot of that is inflated because of the Roach Ravager.
Yeah, and it looks like PattyMac is fully switching gears into Void Rays now.
Yeah. Problem is that Void Rays, they're good against Roaches and Corruptors.
Yeah, and that's what Antis is getting more of. He does get Adrenal Glands, so I assume he's gonna keep like the run-bys coming, but it's mostly roaches and corruptors.
I mean, these run-bys are keeping him in this game. Like, they've done so much for him already, and they are continuing to do whatever they can for him. What I will say is that at least Antis this time isn't ignoring his spellcasters. He has a single Viper in the middle of his army. He's getting an Infestor. I don't know if that's intentional. But what I will say is that more Vipers and more Infestors, the better.
Oh, he lost the Baningness because it was at the natural third forward thingy.
Triangular third, yep.
I mean, no, it was a natural because he took it first, but it's on third location. Look.
Who's on second? As
What?
As the Bailey Nest does have to be rebuilt because of that no bailing run-bys, even though I'm sure Antis wanted to go for them. PattyMac going for a bit of a run-by with these Void Rays. Ugh, this hatchery is looking pretty exposed.
The Queens and Corruptors are coming now, but are they enough if there's a Viper in the army? No sprees from PattyMac.
PattyMac, he doesn't get the base! No, he recalls 1 second too late! Or too early!
And he lost a few of the Void Rays as well, as they were just standing in that parasitic bomb.
Oh my god. Like 1 second more, and he would have gotten a kill there. In the end, he got nothing for, the 2 Void Ray kills.
That was very unfortunate for PattyMac. Yeah.
Ay. Antis fighting back. He's remaxing as well. How many spellcasters does he have? He still only has 1 Viper and 1 Infestor. Okay, we'll see what he's able to accomplish with that. Continue going for these run-bys, denying more bases, keeping PattyMac on 4.
Yeah, and Antis is going for Burrow, I guess, for his Infestors, and straight into Ultra then.
Oh yeah, and that will definitely help, especially when it comes to High Templar once they come out. If they come out, again, PattyMac has been focusing a lot more on the Archons for the time being, but he will need an answer for the Vipers, because there we go, we have a second Viper on the way.
There's a mothership coming up as well. Oh, and an Oracle. The Oracle can actually be useful, both for revealing the borrowed units as well as like defending the run-bys, because those are not stopping.
Exactly. Speaking of the run-bys, the Banelings do crash in once again. 6 more probes go down. Shield battery almost goes down as well. As oh my god, Antis, he's trying to hunt down some carriers, and he's got to find one. Oh,
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 that's wow. That's a brave hit squad, just flying right into the base. But that's like there's barely any defense here. Like the Void Rays were out of position and 2 carriers fall down.
Void Rays and Archons were completely out of position, and just getting 2 carriers for free there. The value was insane, and we'll see if that's going to work out for him. Again, the mothership will cause some complications once that comes out. We need some more mobile detection here for Antis, and we were talking about late game PvZ earlier. The Spore Forest, it's starting. It's starting.
It is. So, guys, how are you doing? How has been your day? Because we may be here for a while. Get some snacks.
Yeah, shout out to Steel Mold. He got my reference earlier. Of course he did. He was young back when back when that was the thing. Oh god, Abbott and Costello. That's it.
I do not know that reference.
Shaking my head, Chris. Shaking my head.
It's not part of my culture.
Antis, he's trying. It's not part of mine either. Antis, he's trying to just get rid of his army right now. Roach Ravager is useless to him, so he wants to refine it, throws it away. But in doing so, it looks like he's gonna get an immortal and maybe a base.
Ooh. The immortal survived just barely. Also, it's like the only immortal in PattyMac's army. No, there are 3 actually. Where are the other ones? Oh, they're with the army now.
Oh, that they are. We have another Roach run by at the natural base, but there is a carrier, so PattyMac is going to be able to clean all of that up as well. The Immortals, their goal is to help deal with the Ultras, but there's only one Ultra, so they're not going to do too much. Nice yoinks! 2 Archons immediately get picked off.
Yeah, 2 of those dangerous Archons, and ooh, the feedbacks on the Vipers are nice, but they already did some work, and I mean, Antis can't engage into this yet.
Yeah,
ooh, but that mothership is going to the front.
It is, it is. Meanwhile, Funada, that Ultra, it actually got 2 really good swipes off on these High Templar, but it wasn't enough to kill them. It looks like detection was stripped away from Antis at the last moment. Otherwise, he may have been able to get the High Templar. In the end, PattyMac gets another base.
Indeed. And he's able to expand himself as well, because Antis being this close is actually very dangerous to him right now.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things right now is that Antis, despite having a lot of queens, his creep spread has been a little bit lacking, especially in the southern half of the map where there hasn't been too much action going on. Because of that, it does mean it's easier for PattyMac to get these expansions up and running, and it's harder for Antis to really move aggressively with these spores. They haven't really been a part of any of the engagements yet.
Yeah, indeed. He's trying to do some run bys in this top left base, but there are defenses they're prepared. And now there's another Corruptor force going for the air army.
Yeah, he wants that mama ship if he can get it. There are no Archons this time to help defend the army. We'll catch 1 Void Ray for free.
Oh, nice revelation on the army, as well as catching another Linger run by.
Oh my god, those High Templar are so exposed. The Ultra wants them. Meanwhile, we have a bit of a Ravager run by. The Ultra goes for the base instead, and PattyMac doesn't turn around. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, he's thinking about it, exactly. Meanwhile, this ground army is just going for that Ultra.
Oh, exactly. The Ultra just barely escapes, and PattyMac is committed to pushing out towards the bottom right-hand side of the map. This is what I was talking about. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of creep here, and all those spores that we saw earlier, they're stuck towards the top left. Like, they're not gonna help out again in this fight at all.
Yeah, like that's where PattyMac was attacking most of the time, but now he just set up a ground army distraction there, and the main air army is right here.
Exactly, we do see a nice yoink on that mama ship. The mothership goes down immediately, -400, -400. But it looks like that is it so far. Meanwhile, that ground army of PattyMac takes out a free base because there's nothing to stop the Zealots and the Immortals.
Exactly. As the as the lasers are raining down on that base and another hatchery is sniped, there are Corruptors, but they come with small groups, and I don't think that's enough to defeat this army.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we have a couple of Biles. They do connect with the Oracle. The Ultras are trying to focus down the High Templar. They get 2 of them. There's only 1-0 High Templar left. We didn't see a single storm.
Yeah, but I mean, there are just Corruptors now. There's another Roach army attacking in the top, but there are charge loads there, so they should be able to deal with that, as Antis is losing another hatchery.
Yeah, exactly. Like, where are those Vipers? Unfortunately, they were feedbacked earlier by those High Templars, so Antis needs a little bit of time to regather that energy. PattyMac, he takes the base and he recalls out. He does not feel safe without those High Templar.
Yeah, he goes straight to that base to defend it. It's one ultra. I also like that single ultra in the bottom right. Like he just ran after the air army, like shaking his fists in the air, and like he couldn't reach them.
Poor guy.
Okay. He tried. Look, he tried his best.
He did. Oh, these two Archons getting caught out a little bit. Looks like Antis is going to be able to hunt them down. But PattyMac, he did trade very nicely. He was able to kill 3 bases. 3 bases and recall out before he lost too much. He did lose all his High Templar, but as we can see, they are slowly being replaced. Antis, though, thankfully for him, he didn't lose too many Corruptors. He was very patient with them. Again, just waiting for that moment where he can just dive in.
On that note, I think it's important to point out, like, look at the resources of both players. Like, Antis keeps getting these bases denied, and actually his economy doesn't look all that great.
Yeah, it really does, and that's why he needs these bases back up and running. Once again, he does catch a Void Ray for free. Oh no! Lose the Viper to the cannons! Oh god.
Now the whole Golden Armada is here, and can those Corruptors stand up to it?
We'll see. The problem is now there's only a single Viper. We do see a Parasitic Bomb, but we kind of see a split. Kind of, not really.
I guess, yeah, sorta.
Yeah, we kind of get a split, and it's good enough here for PattyMac. He keeps everything alive. We'll lose an Immortal in the middle of the map, but he is ready to go again. And yo, Antis, you gotta refill that energy. We still only have 1 Viper here.
Oh, there's a charge of the brown by at the bottom right, just sniping another hatchery as the Golden Armada is coming in.
Yeah, exactly. That's a kill, not a cancel on the bottom right. In comes that Golden Armada. God, the Viper is slowly gathering that energy. What hurts is that hatchery is pretty low, honestly, so it could go down as well. Storms are finally coming in.
That they are. The Corruptors have to keep their distance as the army is just deeper and deeper into the creep.
Yeah, that hatchery that was sucked by those Vipers goes down. 2 bases go down in an instant. GG gets called. We don't even get to see the big fight. Ah! GG. PattyMac takes game 1.
That he does.
Antis, please, he teased us. He was being so careful and so patient with all those Corruptors, and
Yeah.
we never got to see him just dive in.
Yeah, I mean, that Corruptor role, like, was kind of intimidating, but like it never just got the chance.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can't just A-move in, especially when there are those Archons on the ground. Like, you have to be careful, so careful with how you fight and how you engage. Something that we also didn't get to talk about as well is that Spore Forest, in the end, like, it did end up getting cleaned up without the support of the Zerg main army as well, because of the Zealot run-bys, because of the Immortals. GG.
Yeah, like the Immortal army was just running into the creep and cleaning everything up, paving the way for the carriers and the Void Rays. The Corruptors were nowhere to be found.
Exactly. Oh. What I will say is that, I mean, there was some nice moves there by Antis. It was really great for him to get a couple of snipes early on, to go for all those Ling Bane run-bys. Like, if you remember, it took a long time for PattyMac to get a 4th base. He was stuck on 3 bases. But if you remember, there was that moment where he said, screw it. He just pushed out across the map with everything that he had, and he dealt a surprising amount of damage.
Yeah. Getting like 2 bases, I think?
Yep, 2 bases.
Yeah, so that snowballed pretty hard from there.
Yeah, exactly. And now with that, PattyMac, he does take a 1-0 lead in this series, and we are diving into game 2. Surprisingly, gonna be on Curious Minds.
Yeah, haven't seen that one in a while.
And also, Sugar, I didn't want to say it, but yes, we were blue balled, okay?
What does that mean?
Don't worry about it.
What does that mean?
Nah, don't worry about it. Just for not a Sugar in the chat, that's all you gotta do.
Nani?
Ay. Yes, please explain it to Kuro. Don't worry about it. It's just the players.
So, we are on Curious Minds. We are very curious about things, but we are not being explained them. But that's okay, because in top left corner, we have the red Protoss. He is a duck, PattyMac.
And in the bottom right-hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have the blue Balling Zerg. Very fitting that he is blue, representing Apprentice Esports, and Sugar in the chat. It is Antis. Oh boy, and the reason why I was a little bit surprised about this map choice is that they had vetoes, and Curious Minds is considered to be pretty Zerg favored, just because of the short rush distance by ground for queen pushes, and also the third base is pretty exposed, the triangular third especially, the vertical third as well. Like Protoss can have a hard time on this map.
I mean, I feel like PattyMac is like a brave player. Like, he's not scared. He's just gonna face the head on and see how it goes.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if this is the game where he doesn't go Skytoss, because I was talking to Starduck about this, and he was theorizing about how if Protoss is ever forced to play on Curious Minds, ideally they open up with a Twilight Council or Stargate into Twilight Council and go for something a little bit more ground toss focused, just because of how difficult it can be to defend against queen pushes. This is assuming Antis goes for a queen push.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, you say that like the bases are very open, which is great for Zerg, but that can also be great for charge lots, you know?
Yeah.
You can also use that in certain situations.
Definitely. So we'll see if PattyMac does go for a Twilight Council after this, as it is still a Stargate first. Makes plenty of sense. We're going to get out our Void Rays, right? We're going to be clearing out some Overlords. From here, then that's what we're seeing, where things will differ a little bit.
But we will find out. Other than that, nothing too strange is happening, and he's just getting his free bases down, getting his speed, so no skipping tech around there.
Yeah, and PattyMac already switching things up here, actually doesn't go for a Void Ray first, instead goes for an Oracle.
Yeah, it's also an option. I mean, Oracles are probably the best against Zerg, right? Like sniping sun drones early on. Like, sure, there are queens, but if you micro it well enough, it can be very useful.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I don't know if you just noticed this, but the two adepts get across snap and they actually snipe the first creep tumor at the natural base as well. So immediately just shutting down that creep spread.
Yeah, that's very nice for PattyMac. There is one on the other side, but still, like, slowing down the creep spread is always useful. Especially for stuff like Oracles and others, because then they can just go unnoticed.
Yeah, and you know what? PattyMac is not stopping. His first Oracle is getting across the map, and he has a second one in production. So, again, at the moment, he doesn't care about denying vision. He cares more about dealing damage.
The Oracle sniped the other two more. It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, interesting. So, he actually went for the Revelation and the Snipe as well. So, it cost him all his energy, but again, just slowing down any push if he wanted to go for it.
I'm not sure. Did he even reveal it? I think he just managed to find the fresh one. I don't think he had to reveal it.
Okay. I assumed a real just because like he had 0 energy left. But
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it was fairly new Oracle.
Yeah. Fair.
As the Lynx are trying to do a run by at the third base, the others have a good position, but they may get sniped, but the two Oracles are more than enough to defend this.
Yeah, and what's important is that behind this, we don't have +1 air attack, we don't have a second Stargate, we have 2 more gateways instead. There is finally the second Stargate, but PattyMac got here in a very interesting way.
Yeah. Okay, I want to see Oracle Adept, because that's not a real composition, and I want to see that.
I mean, it's coming. The Adepts, they're on the way. They do not have glaives, so this isn't very committed. But there are 2 oracles with this as well if he decides to dive into a mirror line. There's the revelation again, just clearing up all the creep.
Yeah, there's a lot of queens though, and I'm not sure if these Adepts can take it. They fortunately shade to the natural where the queens are not, but yeah, the roaches should be here soon.
Yeah, there are lings and they do get a nice round, but the oracles are here to support. Every single ling will go down, and now the Adepts are looking to deal some drone damage.
Yeah, the queens managed to catch up to them, so there will be some drone damage, but not as much as it could be.
Yeah, exactly. Only 2 drones go down, maybe 3. Nah, only 2. So, honestly, pretty nice defense here by Antis. It took him a lot of lings to pull off, honestly, but very well done. And now, here comes the queen push across the map.
Yeah, the queens are coming and almost snipe this oracle, but at the very least, PattyMac has an eye on it. But Yaku, look at the production tab.
So PattyMac didn't do it on 2000 Atmospheres, but he's doing it here on Curious Minds. I don't know if Yaku is even awake right now. He may have passed out in bed, but he's dreaming with a smile on his face. As the third base is dead, third base is going to go down. 2 Tempests are nice for defense, but honestly, like, this is what I was talking about. Curious Minds, mate. This is the map for the Zerg.
It's 2 Tempests and 2 Oracles, and like a few ground units against all these Ravagers and Queens and Lings, and I don't know if this is enough.
Exactly. I mean, the Tempests do outrange everything, and with good enough control, he shouldn't lose the Tempest. But the Tempest, oh my god, it gets so low, almost gets sniped. It's so far so good here for PattyMac. He keeps him alive. He's using as many of his force fields to keep this army at bay.
One of the gates is already unpowered, so that's less reinforcements, and yeah, this army is not stopping. While Tempers are great and all, they only shoot 1 target and very slowly, so it will take them a while to clear this army.
Yeah, and I feel like it's already too late here because the army is breaking on through. We have Lings in the main base just killing worker after worker. Probes are falling left and right. Shield battery overcharge, it's already gone. The Tempests are surviving and they will clean this up eventually, but look how many workers are dying.
Yeah, the Tempests are just not fast enough. Like, even now, Ravagers don't care about Tempests, they just kill more probes.
Exactly, and again, all the Queens and Ravagers will eventually fall, and PattyMac is a little bit of a timer. He has to go across the map immediately. He has to do some damage.
Sure, there are a lot of Queens though. I mean, given the good part about Tempest is that do outrange most of the units, but you have to position them correctly so they don't die too easily.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be the role of these oracles to help get some revelations off. Again, the Tempest, they can kill everything here. The direct counter to Tempests are Corruptors, and the Spire only just started, so there's potential here for maybe PattyMac to even kill this hatchery.
Yeah, but he has to be very careful. These Queens are attacking the Tempest, and one of them is very low, but so far so good.
So far, so good. At the same time, we have a bit of a Ling run by, but PattyMac, he does have a full wall back at home. He has Zealots, he has shield batteries, he has cannons. He is safe and sound for now. And now, Queen after Queen, they're falling. But again, Antis doesn't care too much. He just has to buy time for the Hydras and the Corruptors.
Yeah, the Hydras are already on the way. The Spire is still in progress, but it won't be too long before it's done. And the Tempests also have to be so careful about how they move.
Yeah, exactly. So far, the micro is good enough. He hasn't lost anything, but the spores are finishing up. Oh god, again, it's taking so long. The Spire will complete, but the Tempests, they're doing well for themselves.
So far they are. Okay, look. 12 Corruptors on the way. Okay, this is the timer. Yeah. Once this progress bar completes, like these Tempers are done. There's nothing more.
That's the problem here. Oh my god! Now 13 Corruptors on the way. These Tempests, they have to at least kill a base. They have to. They've been trading with army, which is nice, but they have to do some economic damage. At the same time, PattyMac, he's trying to get a third base up and running. He's got Void Rays on the way, but the Corruptors come out.
He's recalling, but the Tempests are starting to fall. 2 will fall, 3 are saved, but for how long?
Yeah, the Corruptors are just going across the map just to hunt down whatever they can. There are a couple of Void Rays, but I do not think there are enough. Maybe with the support of shield batteries, they do activate their prismatic alignment. They do force Antis back, But Antis, he just has to wait for prismatic alignment to finish, to run out.
Indeed. There is charge on the way, so I guess PattyMac is trying to get some more ground army to face the Zerg, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like PattyMac is like he has to like buy time to build up an army because this is nice, but with the number of corruptors and growing, this will get very close.
Yeah, it really will. Meanwhile, both oracles just got sniped. They were trying to sneak around towards the southern half of the map, but they were caught out by those corruptors. Finally, this is what I was waiting for. Templar Archives is on the way, so Archons are going to be coming out. That is going to be the saving grace here for PattyMac. We saw how good those Archons were in game number 1. They're going to be so valuable here in game 2 if he is able to get them out. Meanwhile, the Tempests, they're alone! They're all alone! Oh god!
The Voiders left them, and all of them are gonna be cleaned up as the Voiders just come now.
Yo, Funada, these Void Rays, they had one job. They just had to protect those Tempests and they all get cleaned up. They all go down. You could argue maybe they paid for themselves. They did kill a lot of queens and they did deal some indirect damage, but I'm sure PattyMac wanted to do more with them.
Yeah, definitely. And now it's these Voiders, and it looks like PattyMac does want to focus on the Voiders with the Flax Veins coming up. But we'll see how it works. I mean, Antis already has the Corruptors. He has the Hydras available as well. So I'm not sure how well Void Rays will do against this army.
Yeah, what I will say, probably the biggest criticism of Antis is that now he has stabilized. He's spending a lot of gas on upgrades. His infestation pit is late. Very late, which means a late hive as well, which means late vipers. Meanwhile, Void Rays dip in, they get a queen, but oh, they do not. There aren't enough numbers here to really contest with all of these corruptors. Antis, he's trying to hunt them down.
Yeah, and I don't think PattyMac can recall just yet, so these Void Rays are really trying to escape with their lives.
Oh god, that they are. One of the Void Rays gets picked off. We do have an activation of Prismatic Alignment. That is enough to force Antis back. The Archons are trying to intercept! Oh! Oh, they get one!
The Archon ambush. It's nice. It doesn't get too many kills though.
Yeah, only a single Corruptor, but there was some nice moves there from PattyMac. He was trying to force Antis out of position, and he did, but there were only 2 Archons.
Okay, so are we stabilizing the game? I mean, Antis is still maxed out. There's that.
He is maxed out. He does have a pretty decent army. You could argue he probably has enough to A-move. With the Hydras and Corruptors, like, if there's no Storm, Antis should be able to break through this. Unfortunately, no Storm was ever researched. All the High Templar were morphed in to Archons.
Indeed, and the Zerg army is here with all the Hydras and all the Corruptors, so these Voiders will have a hard time defeating this. Oh, yep, the base gets cancelled immediately. Like, yeah. PattyMac knows this will not stand.
Exactly, he doesn't even try to hold on to it. Meanwhile, he goes for a bit of a Zealot run by instead, but Antis, he turns around, he's coming back home, and it looks like he'll get here in time. The Zealots, they get a queen. No, not even a queen, oh my god.
Yeah, the queens and lings are stopping them just enough. Oh, he's actually recalling the Zealots. Interesting. I feel like most players would just sacrifice them and just let them do as much damage as possible.
Yeah, because he recalled that. No, the Archon of the middle of the map will go down as well. Oh, god. PattyMac, he's being starved out right now. Honestly, I do feel like there's no way Antis can throw this away. You know, he's on 4 bases. He's double expanding as well. He's working on that hive. The only way is that if he gives PattyMac too much time. Storm is on the way. Storm is a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, Antis is maxed out. Like, he can only get upgrades, and he's getting all the upgrades.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
literally, look at the production. But yeah, if he gives too much time to PattyMac, like, he's gonna catch up eventually.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Antis did donate a couple of Hydras for free there, but again, he can still afford to lose Hydras. He wants to get rid of them. Hydras are not what you want late game. You want to get Vipers. You want to get Brood Lords, Infestors, and that's exactly what he's working on.
PattyMac keeps trying to take that base in the north, but every time there's a linger Empire ready somewhere, it just denies it straight up.
every single time. Every single time. Void Rays are finally moving out across the map. Ooh, but they get spotted by an Overlord, so Antis, he should have enough time to react. There we go. The Corruptors and the Hydras are on the way. Ugh, these Void Rays are not going to find too much damage. Do we have a recall available?
At the same time, the Zerg army is also attacking at that new base. Like, they find the Void Rays are not home, so might as well.
Yeah, the Void Rays, they do get a hatchery though, but they're going to run into... No! The move command!
They run straight into the whole anti-air army. Both the Corruptors and Hydras are here, and once again, Voiders have to escape with their lives.
And they're not going to escape. The Viper is chasing as well for one of those parasitic bombs. As the Void Rays do get picked
1 HP.
Ah, 1 HP Void Ray. Fourth base is finally going to get up and running here for PattyMac, but he's got to be careful. He needs stack defense. He needs shield batteries and cannons.
Oh yeah, that he does. And also, I feel like, I mean, PattyMac keeps handing these charge load run-bys, but they're not really getting any damage. Like, yeah, they're not getting drones, they're not getting, like, hatcheries. They get some army units sometimes, but, like, yeah, they're just not doing damage to antis.
They really aren't. Especially with all this stack defense on some of these new bases as well. Like, PattyMac is really struggling to find any value with them. Maybe eventually he will. But Antis, he finally has his Greater Spire. We have our Broodlords, Corruptors, Hydras, some Vipers. I still feel like this army is a little bit of like a kitchen sink. Like, it's not as refined, but it's still pretty good.
I mean, look, he's like, you know, he's defended against everything, you know? If you have like one group of every unit, then you're just prepared against everything, right? That's how it works.
I'm honestly really concerned because Storm is done. Like, a couple of Storms will kill all the Hydras, and the majority of the Corruptors are morphed into Broodlords. Like, I feel like PattyMac can still win one big fight.
Yeah, a lot of depends how it's gonna be played out. Oh, the Hydras are actually attacking.
Yeah, Ed just realized that he's listening to the stream. He's like, I need to get rid of these Hydras. They're not really doing much here. He actually snipes the Cybercore.
Yeah, and denies the upgrade at that as well. That was very nice for Antis. Like a small thing, but it can be very valuable.
Oh yeah. I mean, you say small, but denying those air upgrades when we have Skytoss is pretty huge, and it's gonna have to be rebuilt at that. PattyMac is still not maxed out. He's still not comfortable pushing out across the map. And Antis, we saw it in game 1. We didn't see it really come into play, but Spore Forests are being thrown down.
Oh yeah.
They're being planted.
They are. Although he only makes them like close to his bases, it seems like. Doesn't go too far out.
Yeah. Again, like, the creep shred is okay, but it could be a little bit better. We do have plenty of queens here, and the creep shred in the center of the map is lacking. Because of that, his spores can't really be too offensive. Focus more on the defense at home instead.
That said, I do like that creep highway straight into PattyMac's base. Fingers being the carpet.
Speaking of, Robo was finally built, the first Robo of the game. Immediately we have an observer, and now PattyMac can deal with the highway.
Finally. He's trying to take... Look, they're both trying to take this base in the west.
Oh no! Cancel! Oh, there is no cancel. PattyMac will lose that Nexus.
It's actually so funny that they're taking the same location, but I mean, there are no more locations on the map anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, no, the Spore Forest was left alone. All of these spores will be cleaned up and just a little bit out of position. This is what I was worried about. How many Corruptors does he have right now? He has 13. Is that going to be enough? Oh, the Broodlings.
He's catching all the High Templars. He made... I don't think he's going to kill them. Yeah, the Broodlings are not enough, but that was actually very dangerous. At the same time, there's this Roach Hydra army at the front.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the Mama Ship Core comes in play. Meanwhile, oh my god, a couple of Biles do connect with those Void Rays. Here, Antis, he's throwing away his ground army. He's trying to trade as best he can, but it looks like with this, PattyMac will finally get a base up and running. At the same time, a Ling run by over towards the top right.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Antis doesn't give him a moment of break, and he actually takes the top base instead. But this Protoss army is not stopping. It's trying to get this down base again.
Yeah, he will get this hatchery. To be fair, Antis, I feel like he expected to lose his space. He was trying to mine as much as he could from it, as best he could. Finally, the Zealot run by towards the top right. It's going to get a base as well.
I have to say, it looks so funny because right as the Zealots like left the Xel'Naga Tower, the Zerglings came there, so like the runbys are just passing each other at this point. They're both trying to harass the bases at the top.
Ooh, but that was also a kill as well, so... Antis, he does deny one Nexus, but PattyMac kills 2 hatcheries at that. And what's important is that, probably the most important thing, is that PattyMac is going to get another Nexus up and running. He will have more resources to invest into this Protoss Death Ball.
Yeah, I feel like we're slowly reaching the point that we were worried about, that like Antis gave PattyMac enough time that he's catching up economically and soon in the army as well.
Exactly. What I will say though is that Antis, as the Banelings get in, oh no, they're gonna connect! Oh god, they don't just get the workers, they get the High Templar as well.
Oh no. The Ultras are hit as well, and the Voyagers are gonna chase them off, but there's been a lot of damage. The Links are still here, they're actually not being dealt with. 15 tropes go down, 18 now.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, PattyMac hasn't been able to afford static defense, but he is lacking when it comes to cannon shield batteries. Meanwhile, the Corruptors, they try to dive in. They do get a single parabomb, but only that they are able to snipe one carrier.
Yeah, they also had to stand in the storm as one of the Vipers got feedback. Then all the Broodlords and Queens are here, but they are so slow.
Oh god, they're off creep at that, question mark. Antis, please. It looks like PattyMac, he has given up on the top left-hand base. He's just going all in. He's pushing out across the map. He wants to try and end the game. And it's going to be difficult because this time, Antis has Broodlords.
Yeah, he does have Broodlords, and these High Templars are on the very edge of the army, so it might be very dangerous for them. They are getting sniped by the Broodlings right now. That said, the storms are going down on the Zerg army.
Yeah, but that was the last High Templar. They all went down to those Broodlords. We have a nice Parasitic Bomb on all of these carriers, but this is what I was worried about. Oh, never mind. There are more than enough Corruptors here to start one-shotting the carriers. They're all alone. There are no more Archons, no more Void Rays, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of this damage was done by the Parasitic Bomb, and GG is called. Antis ties up the series.
GG. I was worried Antis was going to give PattyMac too much time, but at least with that time, he did get his almost perfect army. He had his Broodlords, Vipers. We even, I don't know if you noticed, we even had an Infestor in there.
There was, yeah.
Neuroparasite.
I think there was more than one, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part of the game is the moment Antis just got all the upgrades he possibly could. Like, the whole production bar was just filled with upgrades. Like, might as well.
May as well, mate. May as well. And as he fights back, at the same time, PattyMac, I gotta question him a little bit. What were the vetoes? Especially because we see what Game 3 is gonna be on. In a best of 3, I guess Blackburn was vetoed. Which kind of makes sense, but Glittering Ashes was vetoed, maybe by Antis. Pride of Altaris was vetoed? Question mark? I don't know. How did this map make it through? That's what I'm trying to piece together.
Look, things happen, okay? Or maybe it was Antis who was making weird vetoes. We don't know. Look, he's playing both Zerg and Protoss, so maybe he was vetoing like a Protoss when he was Zerg, or maybe... What? Anyway, we are on the map that Light was not expecting here, which is Berlingrad. In the bottom right corner of said map, we have the red Protoss player, representing United States and the CranKy Ducklings. It is PattyMac.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the American Zerg player. Arguably the best Zerg player in all of America, representing Apprentice Esports. It is Antis.
I have to say... And never mind, I don't have to say that anymore.
What?
No, I was going to say that like there were no aggressive plays in this series so far, and now I see it. Pull first.
Mhm. It is going to be a pull first, and it makes a little sense. We are on Berlingrad, the smallest map in the map pool, and again, this is where I have to wonder, what did PattyMac veto here? He did have 2 vetoes. Blackburn makes sense, but other than that, like, I would imagine PattyMac wants to play on Hardwire or Glittering Ashes or anything.
We have a proxy hatch in PattyMac's wall.
Oh my god, we have the proxy hatch. What is going to be the response here from PattyMac? He has to try and wall off as best he can. Depending on how committed this is, a Forge would also be pretty nice as well, but he pulls the boys instead.
Yeah, he's getting almost all the probes here. I mean, emergency call here. But, yeah, he has the eye on the natural of Antis, so he may see the links coming by. But so far, there's actually none.
Yeah, exactly. The Lings do finally come out, but the Lings, they have to focus down this pylon because Antis wants to expand more than anything. Finally, the pylon will go down, and Antis is free to take his base. And, oh, he actually goes for the second proxy.
Yeah, he just gets a second proxy hatch. Who is this, Eric?
Oh god. Meanwhile, it looks like we are going to be seeing a full wall off. The Adept is on the way. The Lings are about to turn up in a couple of seconds, but oh, the wall is indeed a wall. The Adept does come out in time.
I do have to say, it is a bit of an awkward wall, but you know, in these circumstances, that happens.
It's, you know, it does the job, I guess.
Yeah, most of the time, it does the job, I guess. Question mark.
Yeah, and I don't think Antis wants to let this finish as well. This is just to delay the natural base. Antis, he's droning up behind this. You know, he's got his natural behind this. Like, he didn't flood Lings or get Ling speed or anything crazy.
What should we just let it finish? Nah, never mind.
Thankfully, he's not that crazy. He does cancel. He will go for a bit of a scout, confirm everything, and I believe he does see that Stargate as a part of the main wall.
He's getting his free base as well, so that's the end of the aggression for now, I guess. And yeah, PattyMac once again going for that Stargate, like despite all the craziness happening, he's sticking to the plan more or less.
That he is.
And we see what he goes for this time. We already had Tempests, we already had Carriers. What is it this time?
Yeah, like the Tempest, it did make sense in the context of game number 2, in the sense that, like, they did defend, right? PattyMac didn't straight up die to the Queen push. You know, that was the purpose of those Tempests. I imagine we're going to see something similar here. Like, game 2 was a little bit unfortunate to me because we saw, like, PattyMac clean up so much creep in the early game, and it didn't matter. Like, he was so on point with clearing up creep. And Antis went for a Queen Walk anyway, and I feel like that may be what we see here as well.
Yeah, once again going for the 2 Oracles. Oh, never mind. Switching to a Void Ray. So, a bit more standard, I guess.
Yeah, more safe. Like, he will have the Void Ray at home to defend. Lings are going to show up, but again, the wall so far is a wall. Oracle does get across the map, and the Spore isn't ready yet, but the Oracle doesn't get in and already takes a lot of hits from this Queen.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, but at least he confirms the free bases. You can see how many Queens there are. Oh, gets the drone. Okay, but this Oracle is very low now.
Oh god, it's just taken so much damage. Jesus Christ. One more and it will go down, so it is kind of stuck here in the top left. We could see a recall later on, or at least wait until our shields are repaired or regenerated. And yeah, PattyMac from here, he's looking to expand, looking to try and get a third base.
Try. As the links are right there at the very moment the base goes down. The probe is gonna fall, but the Void Ray should be enough to defend this third base together with the Adept.
Yeah, the third base should get up and running. I say should because the Adept does fall, and we have another wave of Lings behind this. And just wants to try and deny this third base.
Yeah, the Ground Bias did well for him last time, but oh, the Oracle is back.
Oracle is back, does get a tag on the mineral line, and we have 18 Lings on the way. Antis, he wants to right click and kill this base. Is it going to be enough? A lot of Lings do get scattered by the first Void Ray. Lings, though, they're trying to find another way in.
Yeah, there's a PattyMac is going for more Void Rays, and Void Rays are not the best unit against small Zerglings running around your base.
Yeah, it looks like there are more than enough links here. The Adept is going to go down. Shield Battery will not finish, and Antis is going to try and force a cancel on this base, and he should be getting it.
Yeah, there it is. At the same time, this Void Ray is trying to harass the Zerg, but not getting much with the Queens being on point. The Roach Warren is getting ready, and are we seeing another Queen walk this game?
At the moment, it doesn't look like it just because we have a lair, right? The lair on the way means that, okay, he wants to work on things like Roach Speed or a Spire or a Hydrogen. Honestly, Antis is in a really nice place just because he canceled the third. Like, keeping PattyMac on two bases like this really hurts his economy, and it really does slow him down.
These links are really sharking around trying to get something, but for now everything is protected. That Oracle is still alive, by the way. Somehow.
Yep, gets another tag. It confirms the lair. He hasn't scouted the Spire yet, as the Spire is in the natural, hidden. It looks like it will stay hidden. Oh,
the Oracle! And it dies.
Yeah, tries to go for another revelation, but again, he just doesn't see the tech. He doesn't see the Spire. Oh! Yeah, he still doesn't.
Nope. And the links are in the third base once again. The shield battery is done now, but that's a lot of links still.
Yeah, exactly. Just keeping PattyMac busy at home. PattyMac, he wants to go across the map with these Void Rays, and maybe he can find some damage. Antis, he keeps doing this. He did this in the previous game as well, and I question it. He's going for the Spire as well as the Hydrogen at the same time.
Yeah, he's just going for both. I mean, can never be too safe, I guess. Oh, the shield battery actually went down, sniped by the link, so they are getting some probe kills now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 3 probes will go down, but at least PattyMac was able to get across the map with his Void Rays. That was his goal here, but he will run into the Queens instead.
Yeah, there are so many Queens here. The Void Rays have to be very careful, and they are turning back very quick. But this is a trap!
Oh my god, it's a trap! The slow Queen. They're slow though.
Oh no, yeah, no.
Oh god, it was almost amazing. Antis almost trapped all these Void Rays, but yeah.
They're gonna be there eventually, okay?
Yeah. Queens aren't the best off of creep here. They do force a lot of transfuses though, and yo, we're running out of energy.
Yeah. The Void Rays are still on full health, but yeah, these Queens have no more transfuses, so they just fall down. The creep is spreading this direction though,
and
so
the Queens
will be net.
They were distracted, but because they were trying to be sneaky and trying to catch those Void Rays in the end, 3 Void Rays do hit the 4th base of Antis, and they will get a kill.
Yeah, very nice by PattyMac. Actually distracted most of the Queens, and there was no defense on the south.
See, Antis thought he was laying the trap, but really it was PattyMac.
I'm not stuck here with you, huh?
Exactly, yes. PattyMac, he now has plenty of Void Rays at home to defend. We have a bit of a Ling run by, +1 melee is done. But again, there's more than enough to defend here at home, as long as it's in position. PattyMac, please, defend your fort.
Yeah, like a huge asterisk, when it is in position.
Yes, yes. And interesting here, Antis is actually, despite getting the Spire first, and to be fair, he is using it for upgrades, he's committed to Hydras. Or he's prioritizing Hydras over Corruptors.
Yeah, interesting enough. Like, I think he didn't do that in the previous games. He was mostly focused on Corruptors. He still got like a good number of Hydras, but they weren't like the main army. But I guess against the Void Rays, he prefers Corruptors this game. There are Vipers on the way as well.
That they are. But this time, I do love the timing of this Hive. I think this is the fastest we've seen Antis get a Hive in all 3 of his games. So because of that, the Vipers will be coming out with those Hydras. Meanwhile, the Void Rays do hit this precious base of Antis, and once again, they overwhelm the Queens.
Yeah, and the Queens already were low on energy from the last encounter, and they can't defend this base. It gets cancelled.
Ooh, and you know what? Recall is on cooldown. It was used earlier, so the Void Rays can't come back home because the Hydras are across the map, and they will get this Nexus.
Yeah, this is getting into a little bit of a base trade situation as the Voiders keep pressing the issue in the top left, but this is a huge Zerg army in PattyMac space.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of cannons, but oh my god, it looks like the pylons are going to go down. We do have an overcharge. We do have a couple of carriers at home. Meanwhile, the Void Rays, they get the main base. Unfortunately for PattyMac, the main was a regular hatchery. It was not the hive.
Yeah, also the Zealots are trying to defend, but those are actually slow loads, so they're not doing as well against this Roach Hydra army. So I guess we see who gets more damage with this attack.
Yeah, PattyMac did kill 2 hatcheries, but he lost 2 nexuses, and oh my god, PattyMac, he gets knocked down to only 2 bases. The Void Rays, they have to come back home. Again, as a reminder, he couldn't recall earlier because it was on cooldown. He still can't recall. Finally, it is available. The Void Rays are going to come back home, and there should be enough to defend? Maybe, I don't know.
There's so many Hydras now, and the reinforcements just keep coming across the map, so I'm actually not so sure.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where PattyMac, he will survive, but Antis, sure, he lost 2 hatcheries. He doesn't care. He's triple expanding right now.
He is triple expanding, actually. Quadruple if you count the main.
Oh my god. Yeah, PattyMac is pretty all in right now, and there's just no way. I mean, look at this ground army here from Antis. He's almost maxed out. He's got Hydras, he's got Queens, he has Vipers. The Yoinks are going to be coming out as well. Oh, we have a power
he
bomb
actually goes
instead.
for parasitic bombs, as PattyMac for the past few games wasn't the best at splitting. Now he does, but still, a lot of the Void Rays goes down, and now it's mostly just naked carriers.
Yeah, exactly. We see a recall to try and escape, and it looks like the carriers will manage to get away and go back home, but does it even matter because we have more than enough Hydras. There's no shield batteries, no cannons here at the 3rd base. PattyMac just continues to be stuck here on 2 bases, and you know what? Again, Berlingrad. It's a small map. It doesn't take long for the Hydras to move across the map. PattyMac, what were your vetoes, and why were your vetoes? I
have to say, I'm sure this map now feels very small for PattyMac as he is stuck in literally 2 bases. Like, he cannot leave. And the Zerg infestation is taking more and more.
Exactly. All the hatcheries have finished up here for Antis. We have plenty of workers, 75 drones already. We have our hive because it never died. Corruptors are finally coming out, and how is there even a way for PattyMac to come back?
I mean, once again, he tries to sneak up with these Voiders, but there are already spores prepared for them, so just by flying by, they're taking damage, and the Hydras are not far off.
Exactly. The Void Rays, they activate their prismatic alignment. They will maybe get 1 hatchery, but they don't even.
Yoink. The Yoink snipe almost the whole army of PattyMac, so yeah, this is not looking great for the Protoss player.
Exactly. It was a long series, went all the way to the ace match. Again, very interesting map choices here for our players, as Antis is able to take everything on, deny base after base of PattyMac. He does have a lot of carriers at home.
Those carriers look so weird. Look at them.
They're dancing.
What are they doing there?
Look, they're trying to do whatever they can to survive.
They're trying to become one.
Yes. Ah, god. And to be fair, there are a lot of carriers. There are 8 of them, soon to be 11. But you know, pure carrier isn't amazing.
Yeah, I mean, carriers are great and all, but once the interceptors die, they're just kind of that way. Like, they're just flying there, but looking at the battlefield with their sad Protoss faces. There's not much they can do.
Pretty much, mate. Pretty much. Meanwhile, oh my god, I didn't even realize. I didn't know. I didn't know what emotes Eric had. We have some Eric Kings in the chat. Is that Eric? What?
That's a new emote. I didn't see it before.
Oh,
it wasn't there yesterday.
Hold on. Is that Shakti's emote?
Yeah, this is Shakti.
Shakti has an Eric emote.
Yeah. Look.
Ay.
Apparently Shakti is a caster now, so...
Shaking my head, Shakti, shaking my head. Oh my god, as in comes Antis here with his maxed out army. The third base goes down, and oh my god, he doesn't even want to fight. He just takes the third back stuff, and we even see microbial shrouds.
Yeah, I feel like it was more baiting PattyMac right into the creep. And look at these slow interceptors in the fungus.
Yeah, exactly. As a lot of these interceptors will go down, microbial shroud working wonders. There is no storm to deal with the hydras. GG gets called, and Antis takes the series 2-1.
GG.
GG. Well played, Antis. He does play it out beautifully. Was very aggressive as well, which I appreciate to see in a Zerg player. Even game 1, even though it was relatively long, it didn't feel slow, you know?
Yeah. I like game 3. Like, it was more dynamic than the previous ones, I feel like.
Definitely. And with that, honestly, that's a pretty strong showing here from Antis. He takes down PattyMac, arguably, I would say the highest rated player in this group. So for Antis to take down PattyMac to start off the night, I feel like that sets Antis up to maybe even come out first in his group.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I would definitely say that PattyMac and Antis are the strongest in the group. So, you know. When in the fight of two titans of the group, like, you come out on top, like.
Yeah. Very true. So, with that, congratulations to Antis. Very strong showing. My condolences to PattyMac. At least he took it all the way to the ace match. But again, it's very interesting how the vetoes worked, especially when we take into consideration his playstyle. As we saw, he didn't go for early aggression too often. He wanted to go into Skytoss every single game. He wanted to slow things down, get bases, and get into carriers, get into Tempest, get into Void Rays, like get into that late game. But to play on 2 of the smallest maps, on Curious Minds and on Berlingrad, crazy.
Look. We all know that NA is crazy. Let's start from that.
True.
Secondly, you know, when you play on the same maps every match, because everybody like has, you know, the same bans and peaks, like eventually you just want something else, you know? You want to try like different styles. So maybe they just, you know, wanted to see how PvZ looks like on different maps.
Maybe. Maybe. Again, maybe it's like the overconfidence of PattyMac as well. He's like, you know what? Play on whatever maps you want.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible. But yes, with that, congratulations to Antis, and now we are setting up for our second series.
That we are. And it is. Is it actually in the order?
And that is, of course, going to be Eon versus Disrespect, our other 2 players.
Yeah, indeed. And Disrespect is another of the Apprentice players. So there's another Apprentice bias there. And Eon is our well-known Costa Rican.
You're not wrong. Finally, we're seeing some Latin America come out here. Sugar's not wrong. He's like, damn, that was a long series. That was an 1.5 long series, mate. I
like the next comment. This was longer than the entire Group B combined.
Not wrong. He's not wrong.
Yeah. But that was then. And now we are on 2000 atmospheres with a Terran player for a change. It is the Blue Terran, representing United States and Apprentice Esports. It is Disrespect.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 atmospheres ALE, we have the Costa Rican player representing Infernales Esports. It is Eon.
So, speaking of good names, I kinda now want a show match of Disrespect versus Frustration.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good combo.
Yeah, makes sense. Disrespect, Frustration. What are there any other names like that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Very fitting.
Anything comes to mind? I feel like generally when people pick names, like they look for something like positive or like I don't know, heroic or like just something that will make them like mighty or something. And then you
Yeah.
have disrespect, frustration, like all the bad things are coming at you.
No GG?
Yeah,
Why isn't there a player called No GG? That'd be amazing.
because he would have to play for GG.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Sugar, do you want to cast?
That feeling when no player named depression or pain.
I mean, eventually. No, because the depression or pain is more like it's like your bad feeling, and here it's more like you're gonna feel that feeling. I feel like that's different thing.
Exactly. Oh boy, as we're getting into this series, and honestly, I'll be honest, I was feeling the same thing as YT Sune in the chat. I assume that's how you say it, I'm not sure. Where he's like, yo, alright, let's go, Disrespect, time to play some mech. I'll be honest, when I think of Disrespect, I think of mech as well. It's been a while to be fair.
Yeah, mech is pretty disrespectful.
It is pretty disrespectful, it is. Oh my god, as Disrespect deals a surprising amount of damage with this Reaper.
Yeah, this was actually pretty good, and the Reaper is still alive and free to scout these bases.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's been a couple of seasons. It's been almost an entire year since I've casted Disrespect, and back then I do remember him playing mech. We'll see if he still leans towards that style or if we see something else. What I will say though is that Eon is a pretty aggressive Zerg player. Very rarely have I seen Eon in a late game matchup, so I'm sure he's willing to end the game early even if we do have mech.
No, he's really upset at the Reaper. Look at that queen standing on the ramp. He's not getting in again.
Yeah, get out of here. Let's go. Disrespect. Ooh. Immediately he starts Stim.
Yeah, so no mech this time, or at least for now. I mean, you can always switch to mech, but generally Stim means you are going bio. And we have roaches on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. The Roach Warren has been spotted by the initial units. Oh no, never mind. It hasn't been spotted. So Disrespect is a little bit unawares. Eon is setting himself up here, going straight into this. What's interesting to me is that Disrespect, he is delaying his starport heavily. Like, this is a very fast stims, faster than we would usually see.
Yeah, fast stim, 3 racks, like, believe it or not, more marine.
Marines, mate, they are all you need, man with gun. It's not like Disrespect is going for like a big strong timing. He does have a 3rd CC behind this. He did go for it much faster. And I have to wonder, I feel like I like Eon's position right now because there aren't any tanks right now. There won't be any tanks. Like, there are no tanks, there are no Widow Mines. A Roach Ravager push wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, depends on the numbers a lot, but maybe it can work. Especially for now, there's actually not much army on Disrespect side.
Yeah, exactly. There's no Banshee. Like, again, it wasn't a 1-1-1 opening. The Roaches will be spotted by Disrespect, so now he's coming back home. Immediately, he starts a bunker because he needs it, because he has nothing at home. He's got Marines and Stim. Thankfully, there are no Ravagers. Thankfully.
I mean, the point is, he does have Marines, but there's 7 of them against all these Roaches. That's not a lot of Marines, actually.
Yeah, exactly. The depot is going to go down. The Roaches are going to try and get on top of these Marines, but the bunker is about to finish. With the completion of this bunker, the Marines are going to be safe and sound, and these Roaches will eventually be cleaned up.
Yeah, and also these Roaches being here means that the Hellions came in on the other side of the map, but they were actually cleaned up by all the queens.
Exactly, 3 drones did go down. The Roaches will all be cleaned up. Honestly, I wish Eon was a little bit more committed with this, because if a 2-base Roach push came and like the 3rd was only used for larva, I feel like Eon would have just straight up won.
No,
yeah.
You have a point, because as I said, like this was the point where Disrespect was very vulnerable. He didn't he invested a lot in all this production, and he actually didn't have much army at all.
Exactly, exactly. But now the production is finishing up. Now the upgrades are finishing up. We have Stim. We have 1-1 on the way as well. So Disrespect, he has survived the early game and he's getting into a very, well, in the mid game, he's going to have a lot of potential, I should say.
Indeed. Even setting up this wall on the east of his base, just in case.
That he is. Meanwhile, we have a bit of a scan here confirming that Eon is approaching this old school. Again, Eon is a very peculiar player. He's not standard in any matchup except for maybe ZVZ. That's probably the only one. We can see Eon, he is going Roach Ravager. I mean, sorry, Roach Hydra. A composition that we almost never see.
Yeah, I mean, we used to, but that was years ago. Roach Hydra is not really a thing nowadays. Oh, he's going for a burrow as well, which is interesting. Do you think it's for roaches?
Maybe he'll go for Tunneling Claws after Roach Speed, as Roach Speed just finishes up. We do have our army coming out. What's important is that Disrespect, he scattered this. He did scan the main base. He confirmed the Hydra Den with all the upgrades. Upon seeing this, he should know, he should realize, I just need tanks. I just need nothing but bio tank and I'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a bigger group of marines, they do... I don't know if they out-DPS Hydras actually, but they probably out-DPS Roaches, so they're pretty good. And the tanks will definitely work very well on the squishy Hydra army.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when I look at Eon's tech right now, I don't know if I like this. I would have preferred it if instead of going for like Burrow and maybe even this Infestation Pit, he gets like a Lurker Den ASAP. Like, going straight into Lurkers, that is a thing in this matchup, and it can work really well against Terran. But we don't see that right now.
Yeah, Supremo in the chat. Eon playing macro? What? I mean, look, it's happening.
Is this macro though? Is this macro? He's going like Miyamika S, going Hydra, look, maybe Infestor.
This is a 4th battery. This is clearly macro.
Oh boy. As we see another scan into the main base, Disrespect, he confirms that at least in the main there's no Lurker Den, there is also no Hive.
Yeah, and in the meantime on the west he's actually dropping, and this base is fairly vulnerable. There's only one queen protecting it, and while the army is nearby, it's not in position to defend it.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully it's only one drop. Ideally we have like a little bit of multi-prong, but Disrespect, he's just macroing up at home. Meanwhile, the drop comes in, the Marines, they do focus down the queen, and from there they're going to be able to get every single worker at this base.
Yeah, the army actually comes back to deal with this, but it's just gonna pack up and leave.
Yeah. One queen and 10 drones go down. Not just that, but the Hydras are not fast enough to really deal with this medevac. Hydra speed is still not complete, so Disrespect, he will escape. We'll go back home.
Also, Supremo, you're surprised about 4th base. There is a Hive on the way?
Yeah, and no Lurker Den. No Passaging Glands either. It looks like he just wants to go straight into Hydra Viper.
Ooh, meanwhile, the Zerg army is crashing into the Terran's defense. There are 3 siege tanks that are on the front with the 2 more backing them up, as well as a bio army. So this mostly Hydra army actually has to be very careful.
Yeah, it's not going to be able to do anything. Finally, we have Vipers on the way, and like this just feels like an incomplete puzzle. It's like Hydra Viper is good, it's okay. Hydra Lurker Viper is better, but Eon is just avoiding that completely.
I don't know, like, Hydras are nice and all, but they're extremely squishy units. So, like, when you put them against a huge bio ball, as Disrespect is already having, as well as multiple tanks, this is not a good time for Zerg.
Exactly, like, there's just no splash damage at all. And that's why I bring up the Lurkers, whether it's Lurkers, or Banelings, or even Fungals from Infestors. Anything helps against bio. Straight up, pure Hydra doesn't necessarily scale that well. But you know, Eon, he's working on 3-3, he's working on an Ultra Cavern. Okay.
Yeah, he's working on it, but the army of Terran is already on the move, as well as the drop in the north, so he's gonna take some damage.
Oh, exactly. Meanwhile, the Hydras are trying to catch the bio army. Tank shots are going off though. These Vipers, we need to see some blinding clouds. Where are they?
They got 3 of the tanks, but 2 of them are still firing, and a lot of the Hydras went down, and now the blinding lights are done. Another shot, but yeah, Ion did take a lot of losses there, and as well as lost that hatchery in the north.
Not just the hatchery, it looks like he may lose 2 as 12 workers go down. What I will say about those blinding clouds, they were late, incredibly late, and he lost his entire Hydra army. Meanwhile, this drop is still going uncontested, and he actually gets the second hatchery.
Yeah, 2 hatches go down as well as 2 mineralized, 23 drones dead, and now the Hydras are catching up to the drop, but they can't actually snipe it.
Yeah, we can see some abducts, and with those abducts, this drop will be dealt with. Vipers, please!
Yeah, he barely doesn't catch that one medivac, and it's actually gonna unload here. Okay, sure. While the other one is going straight to the main.
What's important here about this drop is that this will be cleaned up, but you know what? You know what was scouted? The Ultra Cavern. Now that the Ultra Cavern has been scouted, we see Ghost Academy on the way. We should be seeing Liberators as well. Eon doesn't have the best anti-Ultralist army, but I mean, it's good enough.
I mean, it's still a bit away from the Ultras. There is one on the way, and that's gonna be all, while this Terran army is already biting once again into the creep.
Yeah, that he is. We do have the Vipers diving in. We do see one blinding cloud on the tanks, and there are only 2 more behind this, so you know what? Eon, he is going to be able to break through.
Yeah, this time it actually worked out. The tanks were out, like, quite in the open for the Hydras, but no, don't attack up this ramp.
No, Eon, please! It's such a narrow choke point.
Yeah, and he lost the Viper as well.
He lost all of his Vipers there. He's trying to rebuild them, trying to remake them. We have some Roaches on the way, question mark as well, when really we need to be seeing some Ultras. We need to see him transition out of this army composition, but he's still stuck with the Hydras.
Okay, with all the comments we have on Eon's composition though, look at the minimap. Look at that creep spread. He is everywhere.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You know what? If we're going to commend Eon on anything, the creep spread is insane. It's beautiful. It's better than that of Antis's. I can say that. Which
yeah. Look, it's almost like creeping on Terran's bases.
Yeah. This is great. This is great what we're seeing, especially with very few queens. At the same time, you could argue that Disrespect hasn't been trying to clean it up at all.
Send a few Marines.
Yeah, finally he does throw down a scan. Finally he will be cleaning up some of this creep. But the problem is that enough time has passed where Ghosts and Liberators are coming out. Ay.
Do you think we will see nukes?
I don't think we need to see nukes. Maybe.
I mean, I'm not asking what we need.
I don't. If Disrespect is feeling like having fun, then sure. Like,
Look,
we're maxed out.
Disrespect.
True. Despite that, he's a nice guy. I'll put that on the record. He's a nice guy. The 15-minute switch into Ling Bane. Ling's speed is only just starting. No.
I mean, he didn't need it up till now. He was making roaches, but these Hydras are walking right into Terran army. The Ultras are coming from the back, but I don't know what they can do.
Oh my god, the Ultras, they go down immediately as they do dive into Liberator range. The Hydras are trying to close the distance. We did see one blinding cloud, but it actually missed the tanks.
All these Hydras are going down. They take down the Liberators, so that's nice, but there are still so many tanks.
Yeah, so many tanks, so many Marauders as well. Disrespect, he is not stopping. He wants these bases. He is running out of steam, though. And Eon, he does have 5 Ultras on the way.
5 Ultras on the dream. They're gonna hack all these tanks, all this bio.
Yeah, they're gonna try to, but unfortunately not fast enough. The base will go down. We have a double scan. Disrespect confirms the other bases. He's gonna back off and rotate around.
Indeed. I'm just looking at the Sling speed finishing, Bane speed starting out.
It feels like I'm just shaking my head. I'm just shaking my head. Look, despite like the upgrades on the way, like we still only have Mass Hydra. Finally, some Lings are in production. I feel like Eon has finally realized the necessity of Ling Bane, but
what are they coming for an outbuy? They're going to the third base. There's a planetary. Never mind.
There's a planetary.
No, Disrespect actually can't expand because of all of this creep.
Yeah, he actually finally gets eyes on it. He didn't realize that there was creep already there. Meanwhile, in come the tanks. There are a lot of ultras, and because of this, mate, Eon, he can get on top of these tanks.
The ultras are getting body blocked by the hydras though, so it's very hard for them to get to all of these tanks, and some of them fall before they can even get there.
Yeah, and the Vipers don't use any of the spells. Why? Because they do not have enough energy. Unfortunately, Eon pulled the trigger a little bit too soon. He does have enough to try and clean this up, but in come the reinforcements.
Yeah, and the Vipers got sniped by the ghosts as well, so there's actually no more spellcasters available. It's just this small group of an army.
Yeah, exactly. Eon, he has very little left. He's trying to make another Hydra army. As you were saying, Ultra Hydra doesn't really work because they do get in each other's way. Ideally, you go Ultras with a bit of a Sky Zerg army instead, but Eon, he's doing Eon things, and he's trying to find an angle.
Yeah, he's finding an angle, but there's so many ghosts that are just sniping the ultras, and the hydras alone are not enough to beat this army. No GG?
No GG? No GG. Disrespect does take game number 1. Shaking my head.
But imagine if we put Eon in Miyomaika's coaching.
I think that's what he needs.
They share the love for hydras, so you know.
Yeah, like going mass Hydra like that, like it is very niche, but it has its place. If you have like, I don't know, infestors, you know, with fungals and stuff like that. Yeah, interesting. Interesting playstyle coming out from Eon is what I'll say. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I do enjoy hydras myself, but you know, you have to be very careful with hydras, because as I said, like, they're a nice unit, they are not particularly tanky unit.
Yeah, and our Zerg player was finding out the hard way in game 1.
Look, I will never forget the one time I ran roaches into tanks. The feeling of my army melting, it will be with me forever. But anyway, enough about traumatic experiences. As we are on Blackburn, where everything is burning down and we are falling to our demise. Yes. We have the Terran player in the bottom left corner of the map, the blue Terran player, representing Apprentice Esports and the United States. It is Disrespect.
And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the Costa Rican Zerg player. He's purple, representing Infernales Esports. And going for a pull first, it is Eon.
Yes, love me some pull first. I like action.
Yeah, we'll see what Eon can get done here. I'm really curious to see what the purpose of this pull first is going to be, if it's just for the safety 6 lings to go across the map, or if he plans to go for a faster Roach Warren.
Yeah, I was gonna say, watch him skip 2 roaches once again, and then not do anything with them.
Hey, I mean, he pushed out in game 1. He killed the depot.
Yeah. But I feel like it took him a while before the roaches came out. Like, that attack felt a bit late to me.
I felt like the attack was on time. Again, as we were saying, it just wasn't very committed. So not a lot of damage was dealt, unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess. Don't worry about it. I might have just dropped my mic.
As we do have 4 lings coming across the map, they do get spotted by the SCV, so Disrespect is well aware of them on the way. Reaper should stay at home unless he missed them. Oh, he's actually trying to catch the lings, and he will. Oh! Turn around!
He's so close. Hey, staying home is actually gonna defend against the lings.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough. He wants that command center to come up.
Like, again, because of the SCV scouts, Disrespect, he's aware of these lings. They're all going to be cleaned up. And, yeah, Eon's not going to find too much damage.
He's trying to defend his marine, but it actually goes down eventually.
Yeah, 4 lings.
He was trying to body block the lings.
Yeah, 4 Lings for a Marine. Not the best trade, to be honest. Disrespect does defend nicely. He's going to go across the map. And what he needs to scout, and what he will scout with this SCV potentially, is... Oh, and he will. The spawning pool is researching. We do have Ling speed.
Hey! No slow links this time.
Yeah, exactly. So this, to me, tells me that Eon may go Ling Bane this game. Like, he may not go Roaches.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably not. Like, if you go Roaches, you typically try to get Roaches early to defend against the Hellions and everything. But I guess if he's going for Ling Speed first, he's gonna focus on the Ling Bane a bit more.
Oh my god, as as the Reaper does get across the map and he gets a drone kill. Oh my god, he escapes?
I went 5 HP. No, sorry, 5 kills. 4 HP.
Jesus Christ. And with that, we do still have a Roach Horn. It's hidden behind the main base. I like this. We do have 2 Hellions outside the natural, and we'll see if Disrespect can get behind the mineral line and actually scout this.
Yeah, he's passing a queen. He may actually kill it if he focuses it down.
Oh my god, that was some beautiful micro there by Disrespect. He actually was able to kill both creep trimmers despite not having detection for the last one.
Yeah, that's very nice. Once again, denying the creep spread. I mean, once again. Yeah. But yeah, these 2 Hellions and the Reaper are just going around the bases, seeing what they can find.
Yeah, and fun fact, behind this Disrespect, he's going for the exact same opener he went in game number 1. Went for the fast 30C after the factory, and goes straight into the double racks, delaying his starport by quite a bit.
Yeah, delaying starport, and once again getting steam early, getting the upgrades for the bio soon, I assume. And we see how it works this time. I mean, we have a fairly short distance by ground, so the Marines and tanks are gonna be here fast.
Yeah, and ooh, Eon, he's morphing in the Ravagers. The Roaches were spotted, which isn't the biggest tell because Eon did go for a wonky Roach push earlier in game 1, but Eon is much more committed this time. He was listening to the stream. This time, he did not drone up at his 3rd base.
Yeah, also this time he actually made a lot of links as support, so once this Roach attack will be over, the links are gonna come there to clean up.
Yeah, exactly, and I love this because there are no tanks, there's only a single bunker here, so there's a lot of potential for Eon if he's able to bile down the wall and for the links to flood in.
At the same time, the Hellions are running out, but they actually get only 3 drones, so that's not too bad, and the attack is now en route to the Disrespect's base.
Yeah, exactly. We do have a couple of biles already. Maybe a little bit premature as not all Ravagers were here. And surprisingly, the bunker stands strong. The deep roads will get picked off and that will allow a way in for all these Lings.
Yeah, the Lings are gonna come in and they're gonna surround all of these Marines. The bunker is so low, but it's not going down, and the Marines may actually clean up this army.
Yeah, exactly. All the Lings went down earlier. The repairs are good enough here. And, oh my god, even a couple of the biles doing some friendly fire there on those Lings. Disrespect, he has more than enough to defend.
You say that, but still, Eon got quite a bit of damage on these Marines. There are still some, but this is actually not a huge army. If the Ling reinforcements come here soon enough, he may actually overwhelm the wall.
If there weren't 2 bunkers, then sure, but there were 3 bunkers in total built. Disrespect, he took this very seriously, and as a result, Eon will not find any damage here. He is trying to drone up back at home, but look at the worker counts, he still hasn't even caught up.
Yeah, and that's not good against a Terran who can just drop the mules. He's trying to run in to kill another bunker, but even when this one goes down, there's another one for backup, and a medivac now as well.
Yeah.
So this attack is over.
And what's terrifying, 1-1 just finished up here for Disrespect. Honestly, I would have liked it if Eon maybe was a little bit more conservative and like maybe even tried to focus down these eBays before the upgrades finished and was a little bit less committed, but alas, that was not the case here. Disrespect, he has defended, and now that he has medevacs, at any moment, he can go for a drop across the map.
Indeed he can. And meanwhile, on Eon's side of things, we have a lair coming up, so The roaches they don't have speed yet. The evolution chambers are coming up as well, so he's trying to just tech up, but can he do it before the Terran comes here?
I mean, I do love that Eon is going for the gold base. That is another way for him to get back into this game if he saturates it immediately. But as you were saying, we have a drop in the main base. The roaches and the lings were out of position. They're finally on the way, but these marines are still going to deal damage, and there's not a lot of anti-air, so Disrespect he can just pick up.
Yeah, Disrespect actually focuses the drones, and 13 goes down.
That's a lot of drones.
That is a lot of drones.
Oh god, now we have a double drop headed towards the gold base. Like, we just don't have an army here. We have a couple of lings, a couple of roaches, a couple of ravagers, but that's not really gonna hold up to all this, I mean, the 1-1 bio.
Yeah, and they're all in the main as well, so they're not gonna be here in time before all these drones goes down, if not the base.
Yeah, exactly. 3 drones do get picked off. No mining here at the gold base, and this gold base is the most important base here for Eon. He needs it if he wants to get back into this game.
Actually,
oh no!
He's not picking up.
Mate, the target fire he was not picking up because he killed 9 more drones.
He was focusing hard on doing all the drone damage. I mean, he can sacrifice his marines. Like, there's another army already waiting at home. There are tanks as well. And yeah, I mean, Eon is also losing like lings and roaches for defending these attacks.
Yeah, that he is, and he's just stuck with Roach Ravager Ling at the moment. He's trying to go into Hydras. I would have preferred a Baneling Nest, but okay, buddy, you do you. He loves his Hydras, as you were saying. I'm gonna try and round out this composition. The Marines, they're back, and just drones, they just keep dying.
Yeah, another 4 go down. He tries to surround the Marines with the roaches, but they can just pick up and leave.
That they can. We have another drop towards the south as well. Disrespect will scout the base towards the top right. Oh no, he will not see this. But as you said, there's just no anti-air, so like there's nothing stopping these drops. Like the medevacs, they can just do whatever they want.
Ooh, some roach reinforcements are caught up in the natural as the drop moves in. But at least they stop the drop, I guess.
Yeah, they kind of stopped the drop. The Marines are back, trying to focus whatever they can. They almost get another worker. But what we're both waiting for is when, here it is, when Disrespect finally comes across the map. He has his army. 2-2 is about to finish up. +2 attack already done. +2 armor on the way. It will finish by the time the army gets across the map. This is a very strong timing for Disrespect.
Yeah, the tanks are coming up, the bio is coming up. There are a lot of medivacs, and this roach army is running straight ahead.
Yeah, and where are the veins? Where are the lings? There's nothing here. Lurker Den is on the way, but we needed that in game 1, not in game 2. It's too late. Biles do connect, and 2 tanks immediately go down.
Yeah, he had a good concave on the roaches as well, but the marine army is overwhelming the roaches, and now there's barely anything left.
Yeah, Bio, Marine, Marauder is all you need. The tanks, they're trying to help out with whatever they can, but no, the Ravagers are exposed! And now only 2 of them remain here. A couple of other Biles do connect, but it's not going to be enough. Disrespect, there's just nothing stopping him.
Yeah, the bio is just running into the natural. The reinforcements are trying to catch up with it, but yeah, I don't think it's enough. And even then, they can just safely go back to tanks, and yeah, they will be protected.
Yeah, only roaches in production here for Eon. Even though the Lurker Den is done, he doesn't have any Hydras to morph into those Lurkers. Lurkers may have been what he needed to hold on, but it's a little bit too late here. We see a scan, Disrespect confirming the army. He's just waiting for his reinforcements. Because they're not here, more tanks are going to go down, so Disrespect is having a hard time breaking through, but in they come.
Yeah, that's still enough. Even without the tanks, that's still enough to clean this wave of the Zerg. And the tanks will be here soon enough.
Yeah, that they will. In comes the buy. There are plenty of medevacs, 1 essentially for every single unit here. The boys are being pulled. You hate to see it as 19 drones go down.
No GG?
No GG as Disrespect. He takes the series 2-0.
Yes, he does.
GG. Well played, Disrespect. Well played.
Yeah. very very strong build, I have to say. Like it's very vulnerable at like this one point on the beginning where he doesn't have many units, but like once he gets past this point, like this build looks very strong.
Yeah, it also helps that again, Eon has a very unique way of playing.
Yeah.
He does prefer to go roaches into hydras, right? That's just how he does it. And that has its own weaknesses as well. There's a reason why that isn't necessarily meta. It's how Eon plays though, and he does find success with it at times. But I feel like he finds success despite his composition, not because of his composition.
I just want to remind everyone that there was a player called Tefel who played only Roach Hydra only and nothing else for years. That was just his thing. Like I don't think he had a single game on record that wasn't Roach Hydra, and I'm not even joking. And he was pretty decent.
Yeah. Tefel, he had his time. He had his time in the sun. But you know what? He's not around anymore. There's a reason for that, okay? Because that competition just doesn't work anymore. Oh god.
Now he's making games. Okay.
There you go, mate.
I actually still follow him. He's making some kind of game like I don't know what kind of game it is exactly, but it's like I think it's in the same genre as like Satisfactory and things. I think it's also like base building game.
Yeah. Base management game.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that, GG, congratulations to Disrespect. Very strong showing there against Eon. And now we are going back to our PVZs.
Oh yeah. As well as going back to the Ducklings.
Yes, exactly. PattyMac, he gets a little bit of a break here as we are getting ready for our next, or as he was getting ready for his next series, and he is going to be going up against the Costa Rican player himself.
Do you think we will see Roach Hydra against Protoss?
Yes. But I mean, Roach Hydra works better against Protoss than against Terran, to be fair.
Yeah, I guess it does. I mean, it was the thing for a while, right?
Yeah. In Heart of the Swarm, that was what you wanted. Roach Hydra. All day, every day. And even for a while there in Legacy of the Void in the beginning. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Eon does, right? You know, different matchup. Could approach it in a different way.
Yeah, definitely.
As you can hear the countdown, we are diving on into our next series, another ZVP, some more North America versus Latin America. And Los Patitos are here.
Are they?
They are.
Anyway, in 2000 atmospheres, Ali, we are spawning in the top right corner together with the red Protoss, representing the Ducklings and United States. It is PattyMac.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 atmospheres LE, we have the Costa Rican Zerg player representing Infernales Esports. It is Eon.
By the way, I don't know how it works, but I find it funny that we always get to introduce the same players.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Like every time they spawn in the same order.
So far. But yeah. So far, that's what we've been able to do, and we'll see if PattyMac has more success in this series. We saw him fall to his previous opponents. We saw him fall to Antis, but Antis, he's he's a different kind of Zerg player. They make him different in America compared to Costa Rica.
What did you actually want to say?
What?
A much more what player? A much more sane player, I guess. Not going for Roach Hydra.
Yeah. I mean, he still went for Roach Hydra. To be fair.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, he's a much more standard player, so we'll see what Eon has to offer here. We still have a pretty standard Rippler, hatch gas pool, so Eon not doing anything crazy, and PattyMac wasn't able to deny that hatchery.
Yeah, actually the hatchery went down fast enough that the pro wasn't able to deny it. So nice for Eon. Gonna have the more safe base, more natural base. And do you think we're gonna get Skytos once again?
That's a good question. I do think that if PattyMac were to mix things up, it would be against Eon. I do think that he probably feels a little bit more comfortable doing that. I mean, as we can see, PattyMac is even being incredibly annoying with this probe. He was just like poking away at drones like the entire time. Finally coming back home, and again, like, this wasn't necessarily to deal damage, it was just to annoy his opponent and to get under his skin a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, look at that! It's a Twilight Council, actually.
Yeah, let's go. Like, we alluded to it earlier, like, Antis is considered to be the stronger Zerg player, so PattyMac did approach it with Skytoss in mind. But here against Eon, PattyMac, he feels like he can get away with things like Glaive Adept openings.
Yeah, potentially. Or maybe even something else. But we will find out.
That we will, as the first Adept is going to get across the map, just to scout, just to confirm that there is in fact a third base. As that Twilight Council finishes up, and now we are looking at it to see what kind of upgrades are going to be coming out for PattyMac, as at the moment, he only has 2 gases. He hasn't taken a gas at his natural base, but it is still going to be those Adepts.
Yeah, it is going to be, guys. On that note, Eon actually went for Banelings this time, so against Protoss it will be Bane, which will be pretty nice against Adepts.
What's important to note is that Eon doesn't care what PattyMac is doing right now because he is going all in. He hasn't droned up in quite some time. The Baneling nest is hidden. He wants to Bane bust PattyMac.
Look at that. Both our players are looking for some more spicy builds. And they're gonna crash against each other right now.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like PattyMac's in a really rough place. The Banelings are on the way. They're about to finish up here. The gateways are finishing up for PattyMac, sure, but there's no shield battery. PattyMac, he doesn't know about the aggression. He has no idea about the Ling Bane.
Yeah, there's no shield battery, and when this warp is finishes, it will probably go to the other side of the map, and the Banelings are already waddling in.
Oh my god, that they are. Meanwhile, they all, oh my god, they all manually detonate. Half of them didn't even connect. Uh-oh. Eon, please! Eon, all the Banelings went down. They didn't even kill the Stalker, mate.
That said, the Lynx do get in, so they're gonna take a few probes, it looks like, but this is it.
2 probes that go down, maybe a third will go down, but the wall is a wall. We have shield batteries, we have Adepts, we have Glaives in a couple of seconds. PattyMac has defended.
Yeah, and the warp is helping transfer the others through the wall as well, so they are not going down either. But yeah, this was such a grave mistake, I guess. I mean, I just saw all these Banelings waddling into the wall, and then suddenly, like, there was a big explosion, and the Stalker is just standing there like, what?
Yeah, the Stalker was like, whoa, that was crazy. What just happened? Oh my god. But yeah, that was like, things were looking so good for Eon. There were no shield batteries. Like, this wasn't scouted. Like, PattyMac had no idea what was happening. Everything was going right, and then everything suddenly went wrong.
Yeah, everything suddenly crumbled down. Oh my god.
Well,
F's
now
in the chat for Eon.
F's in the chat. The Adepts are coming out. There's only one Baneling. It will find a connection, but the micro is looking pretty good here. PattyMac styling on all these things. The Adepts are shedding across the map, and there's nothing to stop them.
Yeah, the Roach Warren is about to finish, but so far there will be only links to defend this Adept attack, and yeah, the bases look a little naked.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know what, at least there aren't a lot of drones to kill because Eon wasn't droning up. But
yeah, because there aren't a lot of drones.
Oh god, but things are not looking good here for Eon. The Adepts show up here at the third base. There is a single queen, but a single queen is not going to be enough. The Adepts even feel comfortable enough to just focus down the hatchery. Roaches are on the way, to be fair.
But this hatchery is going down so fast.
Yeah, it's dead, mate.
Look at it.
It's I love it. This game is already over in Australia.
You know, time zones.
Time zones, mate. Time zones. I can confirm I have seen the end of this game, and it is not going to be pretty if you're a Zerg player. Look away, Zergs.
Yeah, the others are just shading into the main as the Roach is trying to hold them in the natural, and he's actually focusing the hatchery, funnily enough. So the Roaches have a chance to clean some of these Adepts, but they are being recalled home.
Yeah, they get recalled home. I mean, PattyMac. I was gonna say killing the third base is all he needed.
Oh boy.
GG. PattyMac takes game 1.
Ion is not having an easy life in this group.
He's not. But to be fair, like, he had a good build. Like, the way that he executed, like, leading up to the execution of that build everything was solid. You know, he had everything hidden. He had the third base. He was successfully deceiving PattyMac. Yeah.
It's really like it's really sad because like it was looking good, and then there was like this one crucial moment that just like made all of this fall apart.
Exactly. And with that, PattyMac takes a lead in this series. Meanwhile, Eric King GG timing. Oh god. Hey, Eric knows when to GG sometimes, and hey, at least he GGs.
Yeah, this is GGs.
Meanwhile, exclamation mark Funada Nuki in the chat, shaking my head as we are diving into game 2. Again, interesting vetoes. Like PattyMac, he has no fear. He should.
No, he does not. Look. Remember how we always say that PattyMac has not been a professional player for a very long. I feel like there's always like this like little crazy thing about PattyMac where like he doesn't always go for standard. Like sometimes he's just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it my way, and then we see how it works. Does it work or does it not? And as I say that, we are here on Curious Minds once again with our Red Protoss player, representing United States and the CranKy Ducklings. It is the man himself, PattyMac.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have the Costa Rican Zerg player. He is purple, representing Infernales Esports. It is Ion. Oh boy. And we'll see what the plan is here for Ion. In game number 1, he did go for a Ling Bane bust, Ling Bane all-in, essentially. In this game, he goes for a proxy hatch.
There you go. Look, he learned something from Antis. I don't know who played first. But look, he's clearly learning something from Antis. Or maybe from Eric.
Is he?
I don't know, is he?
So the difference is that this was a hatch first, this wasn't a pool first, so there aren't any lings coming across the map. The hatchery is only here to deny and delay the nexus of PattyMac, and it will, for some time, it will also force out a zealot, but at the same time PattyMac is being annoying, and he's denying the natural base of Ion as well.
Yeah, so neither of them are taking bases. And arguably that's worse for the Zerg than for the Protoss.
Arguably, as the hatchery in the natural will be dealt with. We also have another hatchery, a second hatchery in the main base of PattyMac, and this one has not been scouted.
Oh, that's my favorite. I love sneaky hatcheries.
Meanwhile, PattyMac throws down a second pylon, he cancels and remakes it. The spawning pool did finish up though, and finally we do have lings on the way.
Ion is also still being annoying in the natural, but the drone finally goes down, but that means that PattyMac may let his guard down.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't notice that there was a second drone in his main base. At the moment, he has been scouting pretty diligently, and he will confirm the natural for Ion, and that will keep PattyMac's mind at ease. He's going to be like, oh, okay, you know, his hatchery's just late. Everything's okay. Everything is fine. When everything is, it's not really fine.
This is not fine. The Roach Warren is coming down. There will be no surging speed this time.
Oh god. Let's go. We have a Roach Warren on the way, a little bit mistimed. Ideally, Roach Warren finishes, and immediately as soon as the hatchery is done, we have roaches in the main base of PattyMac. Right now, we have nothing in the main base of PattyMac, just a hatchery, and the creep is exposing himself. Like, PattyMac knows. He's aware.
Yeah, the creep is slowly engulfing the whole base of PattyMac. The queen is on the way, but I mean, the queen alone can find the Zealot and the StarCraft, I guess, but only for so long.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the Roach Warren finally finishes up. We should see roaches here across the map. There we go. 3 roaches produced immediately. But we have our army. We have our gateway units. One of each. And this is going to be enough to focus on that queen.
Yeah, I like how he has one of each, just in case.
Exactly, and the queen is going to go down. Roaches, are they going to find much success here? We have shield batteries on the way. The
What?
roaches are going to be able to focus down the adept.
Yeah, they're focusing down on that adept, which is nice. Now the Zealot may go down as well, and the Stalker is gonna try to hide with the shield batteries.
That it is. We do have another gateway, sorry, 2 gates on the way here. With that, we have all of our stalkers, and stalkers are exactly what you want against these roaches.
Yeah, the Robo is on the way as well, so I assume Warpis will be here soon as well. There is another queen, so that's gonna help out Eon a little bit, but there's more stalkers than roaches.
Yeah, you never want to see that here. Eon, he's not droning up behind this, by the way. He is all in. And unfortunately, he just doesn't have any momentum. He doesn't have any steam here. He's just running out of units. There's just not enough, and the stalker count is just getting higher.
Yeah, I feel like he's also a little bit too aggressive with these roaches, just, trickling the imp by 1 or 2 instead of waiting for a bigger ball, but at the same time he can't.
He cannot. GG, well played, PattyMac. Despite not scouting the hatchery in his main base until it was done, he's able to deal with it, and he does take the series 2-0. Wow.
I'm nothing, I was muted.
Shaking my head, Kuro, shaking my head as GG, well played. PattyMac takes his first win in his group. As we can see here, as we switch scenes, we are now at the halfway point, halfway through today's broadcast. 3 series have ended, and yeah, we can see things shaping up here. Eon, as you said, hasn't had the best time today.
Yeah, Eon has been really struggling with that, and I mean, he still has a ZVZ ahead of him, and as we know, like, anything can happen in ZVZ, but yeah, the games are just not been going his way. Like, especially this one with the Banelings. Like, this is just the ultimate feels bad, man, because the game was going well until it wasn't.
Exactly. There's nothing else to say there. It was just a little bit of miscontrol. Maybe Eon was getting a little bit too nervous because he's like, yo, I can do it. And then it all just kind of crumbles before him, and it slips out of his hands, and it crashes on the ground.
There are a lot of jokes to be made there, but we're not gonna make them.
Yeah. What?
Nothing.
Oh god. As with that, GG, well played. And we're gonna be seeing who takes, or who's gonna take first place in this group. As a reminder, we have a group of 4 players. It is round robin, and top 2 are gonna be able to make it out. At the moment, both Disrespect and Antis have their wins on the board. Disrespect does have an advantage when it comes to map score, and we're gonna find out which one of them is gonna really excel and take a lead.
Yeah, I mean, PattyMac is so far. I mean, he's 1-1 in series, so where does he stand?
Yeah, at the moment he stands at 3rd place in this group, but he's only played 2 of his games. He still has another before him. Again, we still need to figure out between Disrespect and Antis, as they both have 2 wins, which one kind of like is able to take a lead and yeah, come out on top.
Yeah, and as we say that, we're gonna find out right now, as it will be Disrespect versus Antis facing each other.
Yes, that it will. A bit of an Apprentice esports team kill, so less than 3 for Sugar. I understand as another team owner that it can be rough watching your boys fight against each other and kill each other. You hate to see it. You hate to pick favorites as well, because there can only be one winner.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Kuro. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was just remembering Oreo versus Starduck, and like, on one side we have Oreo who's like trying his best, and then we have Starduck who's playing against Survival. I'm like,
yeah. You have like the honor student, he's always there, he's always doing his chores, Oreo, he's the good boy, and then you have Starduck, who's just like locked in his room.
Then you have the guy who like shows up and like somehow wins anyway, and you're like, god damn it.
Shaking my head, Starduck, shaking my head.
But anyway, we are back to 2000 atmospheres, Ali. once again with our Terran player, this time blue, representing Apprentice Esports and the United States. It is Disrespect.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have his teammate, also representing Apprentice Esports, the organizing team of this entire tournament. No bias. We have Antis.
By the way, I just want to point out that we are still introducing the same players.
What is happening? What is this? What?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
Yes.
I know the logo is a little bit small, but on the stream you can see NA Apprentice. The logo is North America with a clown nose. We are going full clown fiesta here. I was expecting a macro game. I was expecting some straight up ZVT, Ling Bane versus Bayer, but no, Antis goes for a proxy hatch.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I was expecting a proper game as well, but hey, I love this. Everybody knows I love proxy hatches. I've done them myself in the past, and they are the best build.
This is crazy. And again, this kind of makes sense as well. Like, I wanted a more standard game from these two players, but at the same time, they're teammates. They know each other. They're most likely good friends. And this is where the mind game comes in. This is where the disrespect comes in as well, from both players. As we do see Disrespect, he's going to be going across the map with this Reaper. Eventually, he will see that there is nothing across the map, that there is a proxy somewhere, but the Roach Warren is on the way. Antis is executing this the way it's meant to be done, with a much faster Roach Warren. Looking at you, Eon.
I mean, to be fair, his hatchery is already done, as the Roach Warren is still halfway through. But, yeah, like before Disrespect finds out that hatchery, it's still gonna be a while, and the Roaches may be already on the way.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Disrespect, he gets across the map, he confirms there is no hatchery, he's trying to get whatever drone kills he can, but so far the micro has been pretty good. Antis, he hasn't lost a single thing, and now the Queen has popped out. Up.
He's trying to micro together with the Extractor as well, which is very fancy.
Very fancy. He was even trying to block in the Reaper, but the Reaper does escape. Meanwhile, across the map, we do see two Lings popped out, and they do delay the CC for Disrespect.
Yeah, they actually sniped the SCV, and the CC was almost done. The Queen is slowly making her way to the natural. Not sure about that one. But yeah, the Roaches are on the way, and what is there for Disrespect?
Exactly. We do see Tech Lab is about to finish up. We should be seeing a Cyclone or a tank. There we go. Cyclone is on the way here for Disrespect. That is going to be a key unit in the defense. Meanwhile, right now, the damage that's being done on the natural doesn't matter because it's about to finish up, and at any moment, Disrespect can lift it up.
Yeah, it is an orbital command, so it will be able to lift as it does right now. I mean, yeah, the buys are still gonna do some damage to it, but that's about it. The bunker is filled up, I mean, halfway. But still, there are some forces there.
Yep, the Cyclone is about to pop out as well. Meanwhile, the add-ons are exposed, so it looks like this reactor should go down. There isn't enough surface area for the SCVs to keep it alive. Yeah,
gotta be careful with this Cyclone as it focuses down the Ravagers, which are very important for this army, but the Queens are there to help them out.
Oh, clutch transfuse. Not a single Ravager gets picked off. Meanwhile, the Creep is on the way as well. Antis is not droning up behind this, but he is getting his natural.
Yeah, and yeah, the wall is done, and all the Ravagers are still alive, together with these two Queens for backup.
Exactly.
And this spec is actually going for a Viking, I guess, to snipe the high ground vision, but I don't know how much Antis needs that.
Yeah, honestly I would have preferred like a Tech Lab switch with the factory and the starport to get a Banshee out to go across the map for aggression instead. To be fair, Antis is anticipating that, so he's getting a Spore at home. Meanwhile, Disrespect, he's trying to regain control of the low ground, but the goal now of Antis is to be as annoying as possible, spread as much creep as possible, and delay the natural as much as he can.
Yeah, he's basically just, keeping Disrespect on his one base and like keeping him contained here as he's able to expand on his own. The Reaper is doing more damage in the main base, but no drones are falling so far.
Yeah, exactly. So far, some nice micro from Antis. What's important though is that what Disrespect did with this Reaper is he confirmed the hatchery, right? He confirmed that drones were being built as well, so he knows that the game is going to go on much longer, that he needs to expand at some point, and that's why even though he's on one base, he has a third CC on the way.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. At least you're gonna get some news, right?
Exactly, and by the time he expands, he can double expand.
Yeah, exactly. Although, so far, it doesn't look like he's able to clear this Ravager army. He's getting more Marines, so eventually he will be able to overpower that. But this is actually getting close.
I'm so worried for that stim, by the way. Like, it's feeling so vulnerable that Antis, he wants it. And if he denies stim, that's going to be huge. The bios are going to connect.
Oh, it's so close. He cancelled it. Right? This is a cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cancelled the stim last moment.
It was cancelled because he knew that it was not going to finish, and that's insane because right now there are no tech labs on any of these Raxes. Stim is going to be so late.
Oh, it's a good point from the chat. The tank is only now coming up. Like, the Cyclones are nice and all, but with the tank it would be a much easier defense, I guess, against the Ravagers.
Yeah, it would have. He did delay his tank production because he wanted stim, right? He switched the factory that was on the tech lab that was on the factory for the racks instead, and we saw as a result that it didn't pay for itself. He took a bit of a risk there, and he's in a rough place.
Yeah, now with the tank, the Ravagers shouldn't have as easy of a time harassing this base, but on that note, like, Antis has a third base. Antis is actually mining on this proxy hatchery, so, like, you know, he's in pretty decent shape against the one base Terran.
Yeah, that he is. Meanwhile, Disrespect, finally he has broken free. Finally he can work on cleaning all this up, but there's just so much creep. There's no Raven. There's, like, how can he get a third from here? How? He has to spend so many scans.
I mean, he does have 2 orbitals with full energy now, so... I mean, at least one of them is. So, at least he does have some scans.
He does. Like, finally he gets another base up and running as well. Viking gets across the map, but does meet the Queens. Isn't able to find too much damage. Actually doesn't find a single kill at all. Does confirm the third base, and Disrespect has to make something happen soon. It looks like he, again, wants to wait for stim. He actually has 1-1 already done.
Yeah, the NG base are on the bottom of the base, so they were not bothered at all. Yeah, there's a creep right in front of his door.
Yeah, some of it is going to be cleaned up, thankfully, but Disrespect, he's in a rough place. He wanted to hit this timing much earlier with 1-1. With stim, he could move out now, but enough time has passed where Antis has a decent army. He has Lings, he has Queens, he has Ravagers. The drop isn't as terrifying as it otherwise would have been.
Yeah, the Banelings is still on the way, so there are no Banelings yet. And this is a big Marine army. But this is still a lot of Links, and they may actually snap the tanks.
Oh, they actually sit past the tanks instead, are able to catch one reinforcing Marine and dip into the main base. He gets a full scout of the main, confirms all of the production. Doesn't see the third CC though, but oh, no, never mind, now he does.
Yeah, he goes around the whole base, so he gets a good view on everything, and there's a big Ling army in the middle of the map.
He has to be careful not to waste it though. He's gonna go in, but there are plenty of Marines waiting here.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, a couple of Lings get shaved off.
Yeah, this is what I said, like, this is a nice Ling army, but he really needs Banelings about all of these Marines.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, again, Antis, he's just buying some time, just threatening his opponent. We can see Disrespect wants to land his third CC, but the creep is stopping him for now, alongside these Lings, as they just dive on top of the army.
They get some buys down as well from the Ravagers, but most of the Lings are getting cleaned up, and the Terran army still stands.
Yeah, some questionable fights from Antis so far. he's losing a little Lings whenever he does that. But ooh, finally it's gonna pay for himself because we have a Ling run by at the natural base, and this time there's nothing here.
Yeah, a lot of workers will fall down, and there is a lot of SCVs here. The Marines are trying to clean it up, but they're actually distracted a little.
Yeah, that there were. Meanwhile, Disrespect, he's going across the map. Combat Shields is only halfway done, by the way. So it's not going to be ready for this fight. The Banelings are rolling in.
Yeah, good splits, actually. A lot of sniped Banelings as well, and it's mostly Queens and Ravagers defending this.
Yeah, but you know what? It is good enough. All the tanks are going to go down. There are a couple of Marines remaining, but it's not going to be enough to break on through. Antis will defend.
That third CC is landing only now, by the way. It took so long to clean that creep.
It really did, and the creep hasn't ended, by the way. There are still active creep trimmers in the middle of the map.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, Antis, what is the plan here? He is going straight into a hive. Jesus Christ. At the moment, he just has Ling Bane. There's no Hydrogen, there's no Spire. Does he want to go... Does he have melee upgrades? He does. Does he want to go straight into Ultras?
Yeah, maybe, or maybe he's just gonna go Link Bane with Vipers. I don't know. He's also double expanding. Why not?
He is. Again, what Antis is lacking right now is anti-air. He's relying on only queens, so drops could deal a lot of damage, but unfortunately Disrespect isn't really going for them. Now he's looking to load up, but I feel like he needs to be a little bit more active.
There's one in the north right now waiting to be deployed, but it's just one, and if the links get there in time, like, it may be defended.
Yeah, exactly. And it's only a single drop as well. We don't have any double drops, which I feel like we need across the map. Meanwhile, Hive is done, and this is where I'm really curious. Are we going to see that Ultra Cavern? So far, we see our upgrades, and yeah, there it is.
Yeah, in the meantime, the bases are hitting on both sides of the map, actually. This one is getting cancelled, the one on the east is getting cancelled as well.
Yeah, these drops, you know what? They're paying for themselves. And again, like, this is where Antis is most vulnerable when it comes to trying to deal with these drops. But the longer this goes on, the better it is for Antis, because he may not have a strong anti-air army, but he will soon have those ultras.
The drop in the main actually gets sniped by a Sporklorer, the Medivac does. So there is only the one in the north.
Yeah, exactly. So now Antis, he doesn't have to split his attention to deal with all these drops. Ultra Cavern finishes up. We still lack upgrades. We still, of course, need Kindness Plating as well as Ultra Speed, but it is on the way. And what does Disrespect? Okay, he actually has a decent army. He needs to hit now before Ultras come out.
But as he moves out, there's another link run by going for his Natura.
Oh god, again, forcing him even more all in. What do we have at home to defend? We have a couple of Banelings, but honestly not too much. We'll see if Disrespect gets caught off guard. He does siege up.
Yeah, I mean, the Banelings are still rolling in, and they actually get a few good connections, but this is not enough to destroy this Bioball.
Yeah, exactly. The Marines, they just keep on going forward. We need Banelings to defend. Without Banelings, Marines, they can just stim and win. The Lings are trying to close the distance. They get some decent connections, and it looks like Antis may have enough. Oh, God.
Just barely, but there are still tanks behind, and I'm not sure if the Queens can deal with that.
Yeah, but the reinforcements, are going to be enough. We have our Banelings, we have our Roach Ravager. Ultras are on the way. At the same time, Antis did... again, deal a lot of damage with all these things at the natural.
Yeah, they're actually still in the natural. Another wave is. And they are starting to take down more and more SCVs.
And now with the Ultras coming out, that's it. That is going to be game. GG gets called.
Nice by Antis.
Yeah. What I will say is that Disrespect, he had a very strong push. It was just, again, delayed a little bit. Because that was the timing that he needed to hit. He needed to hit then and there before the Ultras came out. And there could have been a world there where he had enough to win the game and end his opponent. But again, Antis just barely defended long enough. Just barely.
Yeah, I feel like the position also worked out for him, where like he was able to attack the army from the side, so he actually rolled a bunch of Banelings like in the middle of that army instead of just going for the front. So I think like that helped him a bit with getting a few good connections.
Oh yeah. It definitely did. It definitely did. And now we are getting ready to dive into game number 2. I love how game 1 started. Are we going to see more of that? Are we going to see some of that from the side of our Terran player? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, so far he has been playing very similar builds. It was not the same build, but it was also like very, bio heavy, eventually tanks build.
Yeah.
So we're gonna find out.
We will. We will. So diving into game number 2. Once again, going to be on Curious Minds.
Yeah, a lot of curious minds this day. And once again, it is our Blue Terran player representing Apprentice Esports and the United States. It is none other but Disrespect.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have the American Zerg player representing Apprentice Esports. It is Antis. Currently up 1-0 in this series. Oh, and very interesting. He actually decides to open up with a pull first.
We're gonna find out what that does.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm pretty sure that this is just a safety pool. As I don't know if you noticed, Disrespect actually just killed his critter in his main base.
No, how dare he? Poor cleaning bots. They're just doing their job.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Zergs are the most critter friendly because we don't care too much about SimCity, so we can just leave our boys unless they're in the way of the natural, which can happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say unless I think it was Scarlet who got her natural denied by a critter.
Yeah. Oh no, he gets another. Disrespect, please.
What a disrespect.
He killed the second critter.
Oh no.
Wow. Go get him, Antis, get him. As again, the pull first, I'm pretty sure was just a safety pull first. It makes sense because he was cheesy in game 1, so he was anticipating a proxy in game 2 from his Terran opponent. As we can see, there wasn't a proxy, so Lings are just getting across the map, and ooh, they will avoid the Reaper.
Yeah, they're actually hiding from the Reaper, so they may get a delay on this command center.
Oh my god, they do show up. They will kill this SCV. Maybe even get a second SCV as well. They forced a cancel!
Ooh.
Oh no. The overreaction from I say overreaction, but again, it's because he has add-ons on the way. He didn't have a Hellion. Finally, the Hellion starts. That's it! It's over!
I'm having flashbacks to Tavo versus Vindicta.
Kind of. GG. Oh my god. Congratulations, Antis. I say kind of because, yes, 2 days ago in Tavo versus Vindicta, it was just a Reaper fight that Tavo lost. And he was speaking to me after, and he did confirm that, look, he left too early. For this one, everything was going wrong there for Disrespect.
Yeah.
He didn't have a unit on the way. And his Reaper was across the map. Like, those Lings dealt far too much damage than they ever needed, that they should have. It was crazy. It was...
And it was just 4 inks, like it wasn't even a committed force.
Yeah, it was just 4 Lings. It was just a regular pull first. Like, Antis was joining up behind it. Like, he didn't intend to end the game with that. It's just Disrespect didn't go for an SCV scout, so he didn't know it was a pull first. His Reaper was across the map. He didn't have a Marine on the way because he was being greedy, because he was going straight into Reactor. There was just nothing at home. Wow. Alright.
Yeah.
Well then.
Well, I mean, that means Antis is on the head of the group right now, right?
Yes. That he is. Antis is now leading his group, leading it to victory, and we're gonna find out if he cements himself at the very top of his group, because next up we have a ZVZ.
That we have. It is Antis versus Eon. And I'm curious, what kind of build we're gonna see from Eon, and actually, what kind of build are we gonna see from Antis? Because it looks like he also likes to spice things up sometimes.
I'm going to be disappointed if we don't see a 13-12. I'm going to be disappointed if we don't see a 12-11. Like, I expect some hyper aggression coming out from Eon. And in a ZVZ, like, I feel like even though Eon hasn't been able to really perform today, like, this is his best chance to really come out and prove himself.
I'm calling the most standard ZVZ there can be.
I hope not. Oh my god.
Just because, we expect things and it just doesn't happen.
True. Aye. As we are getting ready here. Again, very short series, Antis versus Disrespect, but it makes up because we had a 90-minute PVZ to start things off, so it evens out.
Also, Antis showed some interesting builds there, so.
He did.
It was interesting.
He did, definitely. As we are looking to dive into our first and only mirror matchup of the day.
Indeed. At the very least, it's a ZVZ, not a TVT. PvP is not the worst, but at least we have a ZVZ when there are two Zergs on the cast.
True. Oh, never mind. He's playing Protoss. Oh my god. He's denying us the mirror matchup. No.
Antis.
Please.
He's pulling a Jim Rising.
Por favor. Sugar. Mate. Funada Sugar. Funada Antis. Mate, what's going on?
Yeah, Jebaited is the right emote there. Shaking my head.
Go for it.
I didn't know too. It seems like Antis just likes to throw that in, like, all of a sudden. Like, he's definitely pulling a Jim Rising there.
He avoids
as we
ZVZs. He does.
Yeah. As we're speaking about that, we have our blue Protoss player representing Apprentice Esports and the land of the US. It is Antis.
Shaking my head, man. Shaking my head. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the best player in all of Costa Rica, the Purple Zerg, representing Infernales Esports, the only Latin American in Group D. It is Eon.
Oh my god.
We have a forge opening. Oh my god, this is disgusting. So we have a forge expand, by the way, from Antis. So a very economic cannon rush coming out here as he does throw them down.
Look at the natural of Eon. Eon must be so happy, after all these games he had that he saw his Antis. It's like, oh, ZVZ, right? And then he gets cannon.
He's completely walled off, mate. He's completely walled off. He just can't get close to these cannons. The cannons are on the way. Eon, interesting move. He lets the hatchery finish. Oh, he gets a decent surround. He wants that probe. He wants it so bad.
I mean, at least one of these cannons is gonna finish, right? What do you mean?
Hey, we'll see, because you know what? We have some decent surface area. This first cannon, cancel. We do have a cancel. We have a second cancel. Ooh. Eon will defend.
Nice, very nice for Eon.
Yeah. Again, Antis messed up a little bit here. I think he needed to throw down a gateway to fully wall off, but he was unable to. And now Antis has kind of put himself behind in a really rough place.
Yeah. I mean, Eon did lose a bit of mining time as he did pull a lot of turns to do this, but now the wall is not a wall on Antis' side of the things.
It's not. We do have a cannon on the way though, and oh my god, Eon almost kills a probe here. Jesus Christ.
Revenge.
God, but this is what happens when a Zerg player plays Protoss, They're like, yo, cannon rushes, I hate them. They're good, right? They're good. And then, there is some skill involved. There is some art involved when it comes to creativity, finesse, when it comes to cannon rushing, and it just doesn't come naturally to Antis, He's just, he's not a Protoss at heart.
Is this a solid wall? I think this is a solid wall.
It is. It's a full wall. boy. So yeah, unfortunately, Antis, you know, he does have a soul. So he he is unable to execute the cannon rush.
But Solo's turn.
True, soul. He soul is spirit now. To be fair.
That's why I said was.
True, true. As Eon, fun fact, he has not really droned up too much. He has a Baneling nest behind this. He's making a wave of lings. He's looking to Bane bust, and I love this. Except it's a full wall, so it's gonna take quite a bit for Eon to break through.
Yeah, but there are no units there. There are 2 adepts on the way, and they're gonna come out on this side of the wall, actually.
True.
But I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. The Banelings are morphing in. Hopefully this time Eon doesn't manually detonate the same way he did against PattyMac. I'm getting some deja vu. Oh, God. We'll see.
The adepts are gonna scout this.
The adepts, the shades do scout the Banelings, but they will get surrounded. At the same time, the Banelings are rolling on in. We need a secondary wall. We need more buildings, Poppy. We need them. Where are they? It's okay. The forge goes down, which means no more cannons. The cannon itself is under threat. There's no shield battery to keep it alive. Where are the shield batteries? Where's anything? There's nothing here. And Warp Gate is nowhere near done because it's not even on the way.
Oh yeah, he's actually searching upgrades instead for the Void Race.
Yeah, exactly. He was trying to go full Sky Toss, and he is being punished for the double Stargate. The Lings are flooding in. There's nothing to stop them. There's a single Void Ray, and the Void Ray, it's going to just take far too long to clean up all these Lings.
Yeah, and there's just more Lings coming and more on the way. The
Yeah.
adepts? Where are the adepts? They went to the other side of the map.
They're dead, mate. They're dead. Just they all got.
no.
Oh, there's one adept doing nothing. Adept, please. Oh God, the Lings, they break on forward. Antis, he's losing all of his workers. Does have a shield battery, will overcharge, and now he has 2 Void Rays, so he will hold on to his natural base. Can he come back from this? How many queens do we have? We have 2 queens. Yo,
Yeah, that's not a lot.
it's not a lot. So, for those wondering, and I highly recommend watching the VOD, a couple of months ago, we casted Starduck versus Ender, where we were in a very similar scenario. Starduck went down to, I think, 5 probes against, like, 25 drones. But Starduck had 3 Void Rays. Starduck went across the map, killed all the queens, killed a bunch of hatcheries, and came back and won the game.
He's remaking the forge.
He is remaking the forge. So that's what like. The thing is that Void Rays still pose a really big threat, especially if there isn't a lot of anti-air. For example, this third base is pretty exposed. Oh, but the Lings actually get into the natural again.
Yeah, this is not a wall. There's a hole in it.
Antis, I'm trying to talk about your comeback, but you're not making it easy on me, buddy. Let's go. Wall off and get across the map. Because again, this third base, it's isolated. The creep at the moment is not connecting the bases. There's only 1 queen. For the longest time, there was 0 spores. Honestly, the Void Rays could have shown up and killed this base. But Antis was distracted. He didn't have a full wall off. The Lings, they did their job and they bought time.
Yeah, the spores are now on the way. I'm still not sure it's enough, but they're just higher than now as well, so eventually Eon is gonna have enough to deal with this Void Race.
He will. Meanwhile, Void Rays activate their prismatic alignment. We have 4 queens. We have enough energy for 1 transfuse, and that is enough. Eon does hold on to his main base. Meanwhile, again, the third is still looking a little bit exposed, but there's only 1 Void Ray in position. It's not going to deal too much damage. Antis trying to do what he can. So far, hasn't found the damage that he needs.
Taking down some drones, so that's always nice, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. The Void Rays will back off. We still have more Void Rays on the way, plus 1. Range is was actually denied because the Cybercore was killed earlier. Oh boy. I don't know about this.
Now halfway done now.
Yeah. Like if Antis is able to get some damage done with these Void Rays, then that's great, and he has a chance. But he took too long. Hydra then finished. Hydras are coming out. With these Hydras, I don't think it's possible for these Void Rays to do much. I could be wrong. We'll see.
I mean, it all depends if they will be in position to defend, because like this Void Ray like fleet is getting bigger and bigger, so eventually they may overpower the Hydras. Like if they're not all in the same place.
Maybe. They're headed towards the third, but the Hydras are here. We have plenty of creep as well. The Void Rays, they didn't want to fight. They turn around, and they're trying to do what they can, but again, Hydras, they're too good right now. They're too good.
Yeah, they're still waiting for the upgrade actually, which should be finishing around now.
Oh, actually.
Ooh, they're actually catching the Void Rays.
Yeah, they almost catch one of the Void Rays. The Queens, oh, the Focus Fire is pretty good, and they will get one Void Ray.
Yeah, some damage on the others, but only shield damage. And they get the recall.
Yeah, they do come back home. Antis has kind of stabilized economically, but +1 is on the way. Eon can hit a very good timing with +1 and the Hydra upgrades. He has to be careful not to go for an anti-timing though. He shouldn't hit with that +1.
He's gonna meet the Void Ray in the middle of the map.
Ooh, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, the Hydras are still in high enough numbers to really push away these Void Rays. They are off creep though, so there is potential here for Antis. He's trying to micro as best he can.
Yeah, he's stacking them as well to make it even harder for Eon to focus.
Yeah, but here we go. Eon, he's coming across the map. What I will say is that Antis can defend if he has his Void Rays with the support of shield batteries and cannons. If they're in position. Meanwhile, there's upgrades. They're close. They're oh so close.
Yeah, like everybody's just tense, waiting for what's gonna happen next. And this is actually adding even more Stargates.
Yeah, that he is. We have a third Stargate on the way. Still no Fleet Beacon, as we do have, oh my god, a Robotics Bay instead. So he wants to get into Disruptors or Colossus. Actually cancels it. Doesn't commit. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
I don't know. Maybe just for Observer or something? He does make one Observer.
Yeah, that he does. Meanwhile, the Hydras are still on the way. We already have our upgrades, but Eon doesn't pull the trigger, interestingly enough.
He's waiting for the whole army to join in, and now he's moving in.
We'll see if the Mass Hydra is going to be enough here. We do have shield batteries, we do have overcharge.
Yeah, he has to be very careful about fighting the overcharge, but this is also a lot of Void Rays, actually.
Yeah, that it is. The Hydras are having a hard time pushing in. He does finally get one of the Void Rays.
And the Overseer goes down, so no more high ground vision here.
Yeah, meanwhile...
he decides to go for third instead.
Yeah, you know what? He just focused down all the cannons. Yo, the shield batteries get depowered. Without shield batteries, the Void Rays are going to have a hard time fighting here at the third base. And Antis knows that. He tries to evacuate.
That said, Eon has to be careful to fight with the whole army at once because, you know, in small groups, Hydras are not that strong. And Eon takes game one.
Eon does it. GG, well played. Antis punished for trying to go for a cannon rush that he did kind of fail in the execution a little bit, put himself behind, and Antis had a chance to come back, but unfortunately he wasn't able to pull it off. Eon takes his first game of the entire group.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I was right about Eon taking down Antis, but I didn't know it's gonna be in CVP.
Like, because things escalated so quickly, I didn't even get to talk about it. I was like, mate, we were denied our ZVZ. I was so excited. I was so ready for like some early pulls. It's like some 13-12, some Ling Bane, some anything, but I blame you, Sugar. I blame you. Like, god damn it.
I blame Jim Rising for popularizing this thing.
True. For those wondering, we didn't get to talk about that either. So Jim Rising, for over a year now, has been avoiding the ZVZ matchup, and instead of ZVZ, he specifically picks Protoss to go up against Zerg players in tournaments. He even did that in DreamHack. And it looks like Antis is doing the same. Because he did the same thing in DreamHack as well. We were lucky enough to cast him. Check out the VODs on YouTube and Twitch and stuff, where Antis did play Protoss in the qualifiers, and I think even in the close qualifiers.
So there, I mean, most tournaments allow you to switch race for the series. So some players take advantage of that.
Exactly. Which is a bit of a shame, just because I do think that, again, Eon had the best chance in a ZVZ. Despite that, though, mate, he is leading the series.
That he is. Probably to surprise of himself. But anyway, we are on Hardwire for the first time today, I believe. And we're looking at the base of the blue Protoss player representing Apprentice Esports in the United States. It is Antis.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Costa Rican Zerg player currently leading this series 1-0, representing Infernales Esports. It is Eon. And this time, we have a hatch first from Eon. Antis hasn't really gone for that forge that I was kind of expecting.
I mean, he still can.
Good.
Speaking about...
I got my eye on you, Antis. I got my eye on you. Oh my god, he's going for... Is he really... He's going for a Nexus first. He's going Nexus Forge again. It has to be. He's crazy.
Look. We already established today that it's NA for a reason, okay?
Oh boy.
That logo is there for a reason. But it's actually a gateway.
Okay. Interesting. So Antis going for a bit of a greedy opener here. Delaying his wall, delaying his army. There's the forge that I was waiting for. I'm like, you can't do this without a forge. Like, there's no way. The boys are kind of being pulled. Ooh, Eon is being faked out. He was thinking of a cannon rush.
I mean, it can still happen.
Oh yeah.
Like, the forge is on the way. Like, it can still happen. Like, this is like a double mind game. Like, by the way, no, I'm not cannon rushing. What do you mean? And then he suddenly gets cannons.
We'll see how this works out here as the forge does finish up. So we will have a full wall at home. We will have cannons at home as well. And Antis opts not to be aggressive with this probe. Interesting.
Yeah, he got the information that he wanted, and now he's gonna just chill.
Yeah. Just a very interesting opener here from Antis. I guess he's gonna get away with this greed. Obviously, like, he is vulnerable right now because his Cybercore was delayed, right? He has a forge first that he does nothing with. Yeah. I imagine he wants to go into Skytoss though. That's typically what these race pickers do. Like, they love their void race.
I mean, there we have the Stargate.
Stargate is on the way. We're going to be seeing those void rays from Antis. Meanwhile, what is the plan here from Eon? Because he sees everything, and he did this against PattyMac. He also kind of did this against Antis. We see a Baneling Nest.
Yeah, once again, he's gonna try his luck bane busting this wall, and this wall is actually much thinner than the previous one, so it may work out better.
Maybe. This is a little bit worrisome though, because specifically because Antis is working with very few units and he doesn't have warp gate, he is throwing down extra cannons and shield batteries. Like, he will have a lot of side defense here.
I mean, you say a lot. There's one of each now. There is Void Ray on the way though, but Void Rays are not the best against Lynx, and the army is already on the way.
That it is. It looks like this has been scattered though. The Adept does spot all of these Lings. Now Antis should be aware, and he needs to take this seriously. He needs a secondary wall.
I mean, at the very least, the Adept comes back, but yeah, he's not making a secondary wall, and the Baneys are gonna be ready soon.
Exactly, like a regular Protoss player, I'd be like, mate, you gotta warp in a sentry for force fields, but he doesn't have warp gate, so he can't do that. The Banelings, they're rolling on in. Where are the Lings as well? They're ready to just dive in behind this as the wall is no longer a wall.
Yeah, the Lynx just pour in and they go straight into the main. They don't even care about the natural, and there are no shield batteries here.
None whatsoever. The pylon is also a little bit exposed if he wants to try and depower this Stargate. In the end, he opts not to. He tries to get us around on these Adepts. He struggles a little bit. He does get one, though.
I think it actually shaded out. Yeah, it shaded out. He does get the other one. And the Lynx are still in the wall. It actually, like, the forge fell down. But yeah, this is being cleaned up.
Yeah, Eon, he's trying to focus down that pylon, but in the end, he will not get it. The Stargate will stay powered. And as you said, like, Antis was very quick to wall off his natural once again, and Eon doesn't... He barely killed any workers, by the way. Killed 5.
Yeah. Oh, he's getting supply block now too with his overlords. But I feel like the problem was that Eon wasn't really focused on anything. Like he kept picking different targets and like he didn't get any of them.
Exactly. If he had focused down this pylon from the beginning, then he would have depowered that Stargate earlier on. He could have tried to dive on top of the shield battery instead that had overcharged to focus that down and focus on the wall. He's trying to go for a second Bane bust, but the second one is always weaker. Like,
That said, it's getting the work done. The links are once again in the base, and once again he's going to the main.
Yeah, he goes into the main base. That pylon is weakened from earlier, so this time he can depower it. But now we have 2 Void Rays. And these links don't get probe kills. They need them.
Yeah. All the probes are in the natural, and there's the shield battery there. Oh, he's gonna get a few. Maybe.
Yeah, in the end, 5 more probes will fall. But the problem is that Eon wasn't droning up, like, he wasn't droning up as this was happening. Like, he's still down in workers.
Yeah, and Antis is actually taking a third with all of this happening.
Yeah, oh boy. Eon just invested so much into this Ling Bane aggression, and it just hasn't been paying for itself. Nowhere near enough damage has been done. And now the Sky Toss is underway. +1 is done. +1 air attack, I should say. We have double Stargate, double Void Ray production. At some point, Antis is going to go across the map, and this time Eon's lair is late.
Yeah, the lair is late, and there are only a few queens. I think only 3 right now. 4, I think. Yeah, actually 5.
We have a couple more queens coming out, but Eon just has to hammer down that drone button. He needs as many drones as possible right now to recuperate his economy. Antis, meanwhile, he's coming across the map, and if Eon is not too careful, like this could be it. This could be his downfall.
By the way, this is kind of funny, but Antis is making this forge for like the 3rd time.
I mean, cannons are pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, understandable. It's just kind of funny that it keeps going down. Oh, these others actually get cornered, but together with the Void Rays, one of them gets defended.
That they do. The Void Rays are trying to focus down the high energy queen, and they do not get it. Antis overextending a little bit here, and he will lose one of his Void Rays.
Yeah, he did pay a Void Ray for that, but he's gonna get another Overlord, and once again supply block Eon.
Eon, please. Oh god. 4 Overlords are on the way, but nothing but Overlords really in production. He is working on his upgrades though. He does have his Hydra Den. No Hydras though, unfortunately, because of this massive supply block.
Yeah. And there are still more Void Rays sharking around.
Mate, the Queen is gonna fall. There are no spores. The Queens do have to respond to this, but again, the main base is very vulnerable.
They are gonna come here now, but a few drones did fall down, the Queen fell down. And this Overlord is also vulnerable now.
Yeah, thankfully this time Eon will not get supply blocked. He made plenty of excess Overlords earlier, so he will be able to produce those Hydras. Is working on a 4th base, which Antis needs to be aware of. He is rotating around and will try and get eyes on that to try and deny it. Meanwhile, Fleet Beacon is done. Carriers are...
There are these 3 Void Rays. The carriers are still on the way. They are still being made. I don't think there's any single one out yet.
There are 2 carriers at the natural. The Hydra's trying to go for a massive counterattack. Maybe they can do something here. The Void Rays do get left alone, but that does mean that the Void Rays could get the hatchery.
They're getting the Queen once again at the very least, and they're focusing the hatchery now.
No, and the Hydra's turn around. I was like, maybe he's just going to go for a base trade. Maybe like he's just going to go all in, but no, he does turn around, and it's a little bit too slow because the hatchery will die anyway. Up!
Yeah, the hatchery will die. The Hydras were off creep, so it took them a long time to come here. And at the same time, Antis is getting a 5th.
Yeah, you never want to see a Protoss player ahead on bases. You definitely don't want to see a Protoss player ahead by 2 bases. As we have a 5 base Protoss against a 3 base Zerg.
There's also this 3 carrier harass apparently.
Yeah, this is a little bit risky because Antis just recalled his Void Rays, so he will not be able to recall those carriers back home to defend against the Hydras.
Yeah, the Hydras are already at the 4th base of Antis. The probes are being evacuated. Oh, there is a disruptor there.
There is a disruptor on the way. How good is the Nova going to be? There are 2 disruptors. Ah, where are the splits? There are no splits.
No split, so quite a bit of Hydras goes down, and I think this is enough for Antis to clean up.
Yeah.
And then the base does go down.
The base does fall, but at the same time, those 3 carriers, they actually killed every single queen in the main base, and now they are wreaking havoc, focusing down that layer.
What? I thought that those queens are gonna put up a fight.
Unfortunately, we weren't looking at it, but I think Eon was missing transfuses. If he did have the transfuses, maybe the queens could have held. But again, there were 2 battles happening at the same time, and
I mean, this one carry is pretty low, but it's being microed pretty well so far. And this army trickling in is not enough to kill them all.
Yeah, every single carrier survives. Antis may have lost his his 4th, but it didn't even matter. GG gets called. And Antis ties it up.
That he does. Fun fact, it's actually the same way as in the first opening match. It was Antis tying it up, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Against PattyMac. In a very different PVZ, where Antis was the Zerg.
Yeah.
But once again, I have to say, what the hell were the vetoes? Because Game 3, very interesting map, is gonna be on Berlingrad.
See, I'm telling you, NA is just, it's just different. No, they don't go with standard.
Yeah. Oh my, I have to wonder, how is this gonna play out? Because even though I do think that Antis is the stronger, well-rounded player, I still don't really know where his Protoss is at compared to these other pros. And Eon, we know how aggressive he is. 2 games in a row, he's tried to go Ling Bane and bust down his opponents. And I feel like I have to favor Eon a little bit on Berlingrad.
I mean, it all depends if he's gonna press the button or not.
Exactly. We'll see if he can do it. As we dive into game number 3, we dive into our ace match in our second last series of the night.
Indeed. And as we are once again actually on Berlingrad, surprisingly to many people, it is our Blue Protoss player representing Apprentice Esports and the United States. It is none other than Antis.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the Costa Rican Zerg player. He is purple, representing Infernales Esports. It is Eon.
Is this a cannon rush? No? We have a gate.
We have a gate being thrown down. Antis does go for a probe scout, is looking to delay this. Oh my god, Eon goes for a gas pool opening. Let's go.
We have something. We have some changes. Finally.
We do a very aggressive opener here, as with this early gas, he can get some very fast link speed. Or if he wanted to, he could go into a faster Roach Warren, maybe even a fast link speed into a Bane Nest.
Yeah, it's all being scouted, so Antis should be making ready for this. He's not gonna go for Nexus first this time, thankfully.
Exactly. What's important to note as well is that, again, this is an aggressive opener. If Eon wanted to be safe, it would have just been a pull first. With the earlier gas, we want to see what he has in store for us with it. Meanwhile, Antis sees this, so he should be well aware, and he should be, again, focusing on his army. He should be chronoing out his first Zealot.
His what?
His first Zealot.
His what?
There we go.
There it is.
I was like, Antis, buddy, you need that Zealot, especially because it's Berlingrad. Here we go. The Lings, they are coming across the map. We need a full wall off, and it looks like Antis should be able to wall off in time. But what's important, though, is that the follow-up. Eon, he's going for a very fast link speed behind this, and he did not pull out of gas.
Oh. So what do you think we see next?
It's Eon.
By the way,
it's gonna be a Bane. It's gonna be a Baneling Nest, right?
Yeah. Also, I like how he actually scouts his own main just in case.
Oh yeah. You don't want to be. Oh, he goes for 2 base lair.
look so happy.
Okay, let's go to base lair. All right, people in the chat, let's theorycraft a little bit here. So far we only have one gas. It's Nidus? Question mark. He's making queens.
I mean, it's Eon. It's gotta be roaches, right?
There would already be a roach warren if it was.
Yeah, and he's making more links.
Yeah, he is making more links. This has to be Nidus. There is an Overlord looking to dive into the main base. There's plenty of room here for a Nidus as well in that main. Antis has no idea. This again, there's so much that rests on the shoulders of this Adept. This Adept needs to get into the main base and scout the lair. And so far, he just hasn't been able to do so. He does see all the links though.
Yeah, that it does, but it stays in the middle of the map, so it's not gonna get any more information. There is a Void Ray on the way, which is helpful with Nidus, and there it is.
Exactly, but again, the biggest problem is that Antis didn't get into the main base. He doesn't know about that lair. He doesn't know what his opponent is doing. For all he knows, it's another Bane bust, and he's getting ready. He has 2 shield batteries at his natural. Nothing in his main.
Yep. Funnily enough, it looks like it's gonna be a multi-prong. It's both the Nidus in the main, and the links are still there at the natural.
He cancels the shield battery. Oh, Antis, he thinks he's safe, but he's not. Because we have that Overlord, and the Lings, they back off. You were talking about a multi-prong, but it looks like Eon wants everything in that main.
Yeah, I guess he saw that wall, was like, you know what? Nah.
He gets scattered! He sees the Void Rays! We gotta respond! He recalls the back home. They were going across the map. Oh, it's too late! If the Void Ray was home, maybe it would have been fast enough, but no, the Nidus will finish.
Yeah, the Nidus will finish, the Queens are out, the Creep Tumor is out, and the Links are now in the natural in the mineral line.
Yeah, thankfully there was 1 shield battery in the middle line. We have 3 more shield batteries behind this. Oh, and with the completion of these shield batteries, Antis can definitely defend. We have the overcharge, the Void Rays are not dying.
Yeah, but the shield batteries will only protect him for so far, so Eon just has to wait it out.
Oh god, exactly. Meanwhile, we do have a transfuse, but the Queens are falling. The shield batteries finish made. I feel like Antis has done it.
Yeah, I don't think this is getting any more damage. By the way, I like this backup Nidus, just in case.
Yeah, it helps a little bit here, but the boys are forced off the line. The shield batteries don't even come into play. He doesn't even need them, as Antis does defend beautifully. I love the Nidus play. You know, it was cute, but unfortunately, Antis, he's just too good for that, you know?
So what now?
Oh, now it's no GG time. What are you talking about? Oh, God. How many queens do we have? We have 1 queen against 3 Void Rays. Oof.
Yeah, 1 queen that's in the Nidus and it's like red.
Yeah. I mean, Antis, he reacted very well here with that safety shield battery in his main. Honestly, this saved him because he could overcharge and keep everything alive. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Neon was Neon what? Eon was too aggressive there, like just running into the overcharge instead of like backing up and waiting it out.
Yeah, he should have waited it out. 100%. 100%. He should have backed off. You know what I would have loved as well? If he had backed off, thrown a drone across the map and thrown down a spore. Right? Just
might as well.
Yeah, why not? That would have helped against the Void Rays. Like, there are other ways that he could have executed this all in. Unfortunately, we saw how it turned out for him, and it didn't turn out well.
Yeah, drones are slowly falling down to all these Void Rays. There are links on the other side of the map, but with all these shield batteries, they can't even get any kills. Yeah,
exactly. As the Lings, I mean, they're dealing some damage, but there it is. No GG, as Antis takes the series.
Once again. Antis seems to have that comeback series.
That he does. Congratulations. Antis will come out first in his group. Did drop a game, but he did not drop a series.
I mean, he dropped 2 games actually, but yes.
Did drop 2 games. But
and that leads us to the final series of the night.
That it will, and this is a very important series because Antis is number 1. He is coming out of the group 100%, but top 2 players get out of the group, and it's a little bit up in the air because at the moment PattyMac and Disrespect are even when it comes to wins, when it comes to overall game series wins. PattyMac is ahead when it comes to map score because he did take a game off of Antis. But it still will all come down to this series to determine who comes out second, PattyMac or Disrespect.
Indeed. And this time we have a PVT, right?
Yes.
It's not a ZVZ, right?
I don't know, man. Are they gonna off race? I don't know. It's NA. Just say.
I don't trust anything anymore.
Oh boy, I don't. I don't trust it either. Meanwhile, there was someone asking earlier, like, "Yo, why does Antis play Protoss? Does he not put himself at a disadvantage?" It's the theory of Antis as well as Jim Rising, where their PVZ, the reason why they play PVZ instead of ZVZ is because that matchup specifically is better for them. Like, they're just, it's, you know, no balance line, but it is easier to play out a PVZ instead of ZVZ, at least for them.
Also, I think it's also important to point out that, like, many of these players, like, regularly play those off races, like, on ladder as well. Like, it's not like, you know, they just like, oh, I'm bored with this race, I'm gonna try something completely random and out of whack. Like, many of these players have pretty highly ranked off races. Like, they try different races, like, not even to play them, like, competitively, but, you know, you have to know your enemy, so to speak.
You're not wrong. But for Jim and Antis specifically, like, they do play their Protosses competitively, and they do win against these top tier players with their Protoss. Again, Jim Rising, he has beaten the other Latin American Zerg players with his Protoss. He's even beaten Cham with his Protoss. So it goes to show that it does work for him. Meanwhile, for Antis, I think something important to note is that honestly there aren't that many Zergs in North America right now. There's Antis, there's Uko. It's mainly Protoss and Terran. Especially if you look at DreamHack, like, oh boy, in the North American region. I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't even have to worry about that matchup anyway, to be fair. But with that, we are diving into our final series of the day, our very first Protoss versus Terran, featuring one of our Ducklings.
Indeed. It's the Ducklings versus the Apprentice, once again.
Oh boy. Let's go.
And we are once again, so I totally didn't turn something on. We are once again on 2000 atmospheres, Ali. And in the... I hope you have your camera on.
I did.
On the top right, in the top right corner of 2000 atmospheres, we have our red Protoss player, representing America as well as the CranKy Ducklings. It is PattyMac.
Beautiful. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the American Terran player representing Apprentice Esports. It is Disrespect.
Time to sit back and wait for this to develop, because I don't think either of these players is particularly aggressive.
Not necessarily. When it comes to their aggression, you're right. What I will say is that because I know Starduck, he's out there somewhere, and now that there's a PVT, he wants me to say it, so I'll get this out of the way. PVT unwinnable. If you are, of course, subscribed to Starduck's narrative.
Why are we falling to Starduck's narrative exactly? Like,
I mean, he was
when did we start Starduck's propaganda?
He was meant to cast today, so you know I gotta do him justice a little bit here.
I mean, he could have been here and just said it. You know,
he could have been here. Shaking my head, Starduck. Shaking my head. But yeah, there are a lot of Protoss players that do struggle in this matchup. But what I will say is that despite that, PattyMac is still a very strong player. He has been practicing a lot of this matchup as well, just because PvP and PvT are the two matchups that you need to be good at in the North American region. So PattyMac, he's ready.
Yeah.
As so far openings are developing, I guess I'm really curious to see what Disrespect will open up with, because Widowmine drops are quite popular, but not just Widowmine drops, we've seen a lot of diversity with 111s going into Banshees, going into Ravens, sometimes even going into BCs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, after seeing Special in the King of the Hill, I just see BCs everywhere.
Yeah, for those wondering, last week we casted King of the Hill, and we were able to cast Special, the Mexican Terran, and against the European Protosses, I believe it was against Geralt and against Cristiano. He did open up with BC into Mech against Protoss, and he won.
Yeah, it was few different games, and I think every time it was slightly different, like Haraz BCs, like Maz BCs, like he spiced it up a bit.
Yeah, Special went up against a lot of Protoss players that day. A lot of Protoss players, and he was able to show off a vast variety of openers. And we'll see what we have here in this opener, as PattyMac already gets across the map with these adepts and already delays the CC by quite a bit.
Yeah, that he does, and he was also able to get these shades into the main base, so he knows quite a bit about what's going on.
Yeah, where's the SCV? Finally, we have an SCV coming down here, but oh my god, this natural has been delayed by so much, and these adepts were able to scout the 111 opener.
Indeed, and it is gonna be mines indeed this game. But yeah.
Oh my god, but as Disrespect is getting set up to go for a bit of a mine drop, PattyMac himself is spicing things up with a Dark Shrine.
Yeah, indeed, just straight up to it. And the War Priest is already on the way, so like the moment Disrespect moves out with this army, with the Medivac and everything, like he's gonna have DTs in his base.
Yeah, exactly, and because the CC was delayed, like there may not necessarily be a lot of energy left on it. Meanwhile, the micro is pretty fancy, but oh god, he still loses his Hellions. Ah!
That was so close. This Hellion has 2 HP.
It does. It has 2 HP. Jesus Christ. At least Disrespect is able to finally deal with these adepts. Finally, he can go for the drop. This was, again, delayed by quite a bit. And we'll see what this can get done. Okay, we need to talk about the openers. It wasn't a Blink Stalker opener, so we don't have Stalkers to defend. We don't have Phoenixes either, because it wasn't a Stargate. So these Widowmines could deal a lot, but at the same time, the DTs are already out.
Yeah, the 2 are going to the main, 1 is going to the Natural through the front as well. There's a Widowmine, but it's not clear. Yep.
Oh my god. GG gets called. The DTs reveal themselves, and Disrespect, he just doesn't have anything to deal with them. That's game 1.
Yeah, very, very quick game 1 for the series.
Wow.
And yeah, this is what I call no ping out of the game.
Yep. He saw the DTs, and he had a Raven on the way, but it was nowhere near being done. He had that 1 Hellion with 2 HP. He had no units because he just sent his Widowmines across the map. He had literally nothing at home to defend.
Yeah, that happens.
It does happen from time to time, and that was a quick one.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We had a lot of like very quick and sudden games today. We also had that first series that was very long and like, very macro heavy, but we also had quite a few quirky short ones.
Yeah, we've had a lot of variety today.
And once again, we look at the base of the Protoss player, the red Protoss on Blackburn Alley. It is the Duckling. The American player, it is the PattyMac.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the American Terran, representing Apprentice Esports, having a hard time in game 1. A very hard time, but looking to come back in game 2. It is Disrespect.
So you can tell it's getting late because Kuro is getting into ASMR mode. My voice is getting lower the more tired I get.
Oh,
apparently.
It's okay. This is the final series of the night, and then you can go to bed.
Yes.
You can get some sleeps.
God. I cringe every time.
Oh god. As of course we do have to be getting up early tomorrow for our amateur tournament, right?
Yes.
That's your window to talk about it. But
This
okay.
probe is actually doing damage.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Master Swan Open, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Master Swan Open, which is a tournament for amateur players from bronze to 4.9k MMR Master.
Yes! Exclamation mark MSO in the chat if you want to have a look at the page for Master Swan Open. Huh?
I don't know if the command is correct. I might have forgotten to change it.
Shaking my head, shaking my head as the probe was being very annoying, delaying this CC, but finally Disrespect will be able to deal with that pesky probe and get his CC up and running. Meanwhile, he does scout across the map, confirming that everything so far is pretty normal from the side of PattyMac.
Yeah, he was able to see this base shining in the great lights of Blackburn. Thank you, Blizzard.
Thank you, Blizzard, for introducing the lens flares on this map and blinding everyone at home. Appreciate it.
Nobody can see it, but I'm having fun.
Oh god, shaking my head. As this time Disrespect is going for a much safer opener. He's got his bunker at home, he's getting Marines out as well. He's not rushing to get into those Widow Mines like he did in game 1, where he was honestly punished for it.
Yeah, and once again, the Adam is coming in. There is a bunker though, so it's not gonna get too far. So no scouting this time, although maybe? No, there is the depot in time this time.
Exactly. PattyMac, he doesn't delay the CC with his adepts, he doesn't find a way in, he doesn't scout his opponent, doesn't do anything. Not yet. This time though, there are 2 adepts and Disrespect is still on top of his depot.
Yeah, so no scouting for PattyMac this time. Oh, the adepts are actually gonna get trapped, and both of them go down.
PattyMac being a little bit greedy there, shading in. He got a couple of Marines, but at the cost of his 2 adepts. Meanwhile, back at home, we do see this time he did not open up with the Twilight Council. Instead, he opened up with the Stargate.
Yeah, I mean, understandable on Blackburn. Like, you have fairly short air distance, and this Oracle might get some kills. I mean, there are a few Marines waiting. There are Widow Mice. This is the important part. Like, we have to look where the Widow Mice will go, because Terrans like to hide them in some places.
Yeah, that he does. Unfortunately, the Widow Mines aren't borrowed at the moment. So, a little bit unfortunate. The Oracle is going to get across the map. How much damage is going to be done as he avoids the Widow Mines?
He just flies by them.
Uh-oh.
No, 2 SCVs, okay. Oh, the Widow Mine. I almost got it, but like it flew away from the target fast enough.
Yeah, that it did. There is no stim, by the way, so the Marines are really struggling. No, there's nothing here at the natural. Oh my god, the Oracle just goes to town.
Yeah, gets the mule as well and just flies away.
Jesus, 8 worker kills alongside the mule, and the Oracle escapes.
Ooh, it sees the Marines though.
It
Can't
does.
tag because it's out of energy, but they are meeting each other in the middle of the map. Meanwhile, PattyMac is actually going for Blink.
That he is. He's trying to work on that Blink. Meanwhile, the Widow Mines do get dealt with. They do not deal any damage across the map. Even the Medevac does get picked off as well, as we had a Phoenix following up with the Oracle.
Yeah, and these Marines are actually going home. They were going to join the mines, but since the mines are no more, they have nothing to do here.
Absolutely nothing. They're running back home. Stim only just started, so there's no real power in these Marines, not yet. And now PattyMac is the one with the map control. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Ooh, the Phoenix tanks the Widow Mine shot, so the Oracle is free to attack the main. The Marines are here, but at the same time, there are Stalkers at the front.
Exactly. The Marines are completely pulled out of position. The Stalkers are trying to focus down this bunker, and it looks like they will not get it. The repairs are just barely in time.
Yeah, but Disrespect really has to pick which side he wants to defend. That said, PattyMac actually doesn't move with the Oracle. There is a missile turret in the mineral line, so I guess he tries to be safe instead.
Exactly. What's important though is that he does have high ground vision. He can blink straight into the main base, and the Marines are not in position. There's no tank. There's no bunker in the main. There is nothing to stop these Stalkers.
Yeah, I don't think Disrespect was expecting that. This is so dangerous.
Exactly. And PattyMac, he goes to the tech labs. He will not get stim, but he will deny combat shields.
Oh, will he get steam?
Oh god, is he gonna get it? No, he gets
He
both.
gets steam. And there's a stasis here as well in case the Marines get too close.
The Widow Mines, they weren't in position. The Marines can't even move forward because they don't have stim. The stasis ward does go off, but only on the single Marauder. And there we go. We do have the recall to come back home.
Yeah, a few Starkers do go down, so not ideal, but that was a good damage from PattyMac. A lot of delayed tech, especially.
That was brutal. That was game ending. The fact that Disrespect wanted to hit the timing with +1 and combat shields and stim, and it is just everything is just going wrong for him.
Yeah, and PattyMac is just speeding up in terms of technology. He's getting charged, he's getting Templar Archives, he's gonna be ready for the next attack, and the Starkers are moving out once again.
That they are. He does have the map control. At the same time, Disrespect is going for a Widow Mine drop, and again, he has to clear out the entire mineral line. In the end, he actually second guesses himself. He does back off, doesn't go for the Widow Mine drop yet. There is a lot of potential with this drop, but it has to deal damage.
Ooh, he's moving out straight into the Starkers, but this is a lot of Marines still without steam though. You have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, and because they don't have stim, like, the Stalkers can just kite for days. At the same time, there we go, we do have the Widow Mines dropping. 7 probes will go down. It looks like PattyMac did not react, but Disrespect, you gotta get out of here.
Oh, he picks up the mines, and the Medivac looks like he's gonna escape.
That it will. Meanwhile, the Stalkers across the map are still dancing with the buyers, still picking off whatever they can. Stim is still on the way. Jesus Christ.
It's not even halfway done.
I also realized that he didn't remake combat shields. It's completely forgotten.
Look, we're scrapping this project.
Oh god.
Oh, I think the Medivac actually went down. There is one mine at the top.
Yeah, it looks like the Phoenix was able to hunt down that Medivac. At least the mine was able to borrow, so one more shot will go off, and oh! Gets the Phoenix.
I mean, Phoenix did its job at this point.
Yeah, that it did. Meanwhile, we have another Widow Mine drop in the main base. It looks like maybe another here in the natural. Borrow, puppy, borrow it! Borrow it!
Nope. Nope. Get sniped in time. There's just this sad Medivac being slowly shot at.
Yeah.
As the main army is moving through the middle of the map, and there are Stalkers there to meet it, but it's a bit too much for this group of Stalkers.
Yeah, the problem is that now finally PattyMac is going to be aggressive with his bio army, but enough time has passed where we have Charge, we have Archons, like we have an anti-bio army already. Sure, there are no Colossus and no like big splash damage, but Charge Lots and Archons are more than enough.
Yeah, this bio army is going straight into their death. Like, they didn't realize how much army of Protoss is waiting for them.
Exactly. Some decent Widow Mine connections do go off, but we need more where that came from. We need more Widow Mines. We need tanks, potentially. Mainly Widow Mines here to deal with these charge lots. There is one more here in the natural, but is one Widow Mine really going to be enough?
It doesn't look like it is, and the charges are going around the whole army as well, finding for the best spot and just making way for the Archons, and they are dealing with all this bio.
And GG, well played, gets called as PattyMac crashes through the defense at the natural, and he will make it through to Group Stage 2. GG, well played. Congratulations, PattyMac. He takes the series 2-0, and he will confirm his spot in this group as the number 2. And just did, of course, claim spot number 1, and they will both be moving on to the next stage of NA Apprentice.
By the way, Disrespect is actually in the chat.
It may not look like it, but both players are GM.
This is what GM looks like.
Less than 3, Disrespect. Less than 3. We love you. We love you. And
it sounds like that meme about the peak performance.
Yeah. Oh god, Disrespect, you did get here late. This was the final series of the night, and you did have decent games, you know, don't put yourself down, you know, you still did have a good showing here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I recommend checking out the VOD. We casted all 6 games of this group, all 6 matches, so yeah, do check it out.
Yeah, we had some long macro games. PattyMac versus Antis, of course, was if you want some late game PvZ, that is the matchup to look forward to in the VODs. Meanwhile, we also had a bit of a clown fiesta with Antis versus Eon, and we had some more variety in between there as well, with Disrespect and all the other players. So yeah, we had a very nice day of StarCraft here today, and thankfully, no walkovers.
Yeah. The whole group played out, and yeah, those were some interesting games, even if some of them ended a bit abruptly, would you say? But yeah, pretty interesting group. I mean, to be fair, we did expect PattyMac and Antis to come out of this group, but still, like, by no means were all of these games very one-sided or anything.
Exactly. Like, I'll be real, I expected PattyMac to come out first, so I mean, shout out to Antis for making PattyMac work for it and actually taking down PattyMac in his series. But I will also criticize PattyMac for his vetoes, because that first series was insane. Like, PvZ on Curious Minds and Berlingrad, like, he's crazy.
I mean, throughout this whole group, we had a lot of videos that people were questioning a bit, you know?
Yeah, we actually had Berlingrad a decent amount of time. Wow, it was much more than I'm used to. So yeah, some interesting maps. Are there any maps that we did? I don't think we saw Glittering Ashes today.
No, not a single time.
Not a single Glittering Ashes. Welcome to NA. Crazy. But with that, we do have our confirmed players.
I have to say, my favorite moment of the group was us being debated by Antis.
Yeah,
that was awful.
That was a great moment. And people in the chat, if you want to have a look at the results of all the other groups, !B in the chat to have a look at that Liquipedia page. To get confirmation of all the players. As we can see, Maples, Disc, Vindicta, BioIce, Future, Zero, and Antis and PattyMac will be moving on.
Indeed. And as far as I know, the groups are already set for the next stage, so there will be update on Wikipedia soon as well, so look forward to that.
Oh yeah, look forward to that as well. As I'm actually trying to see if I can show this on stream. As I quickly set up the browser. There we go, and boom. It's not cropped well, but you can kind of see it there on the screen. Again,
I'm so glad I don't see it.
Yeah, just check out the Wikipedia page, guys. You can see it all for yourselves. But yeah, I do believe that Group Stage 2 is currently being played out. What's important is that all these players from Group Stage 1, they will be joining the players that were already seeded into Group Stage 2, which are the rest of the Protosses and the Zerg players. The most interesting player that's going to be in Group Stage 2, by the way, in my opinion, is Cats. Cats has returned to play.
Yeah, that's very interesting. The owner of Root Gaming himself, who by the way have quite interesting results recently with their new Masters division, I guess you can call it.
Yeah.
Particularly in Fanson, I believe.
Yeah, there's a lot of Root Gaming players that have really popped off due to the kind of restructuring of Root Gaming. And it seems like Cats is motivated again to compete. It's been a long time. The last time he competed, in my memory, was at the start of the year. He actually played in the DreamHack qualifiers for Latin America, and he got stopped. Yeah. I remember Jarpi and Tavo and like all these regular Latin American players just had their way with Cats. And it was a little bit disappointing to see, because I was like, yo, Cats is back! And he was kind of out of shape. And it was like,
I mean, we all know, like he's not an active player in terms of competitive play. Like, he still made ladder and stuff. Like, he's still playing the game, but like, he's not a pro player anymore.
Yeah, but what I will say is that's why I'm impressed that Cats, the reason why he's in Group Stage 2 and he got seeded in, is because he did very well in the qualifiers for NA Apprentice. He actually beat Tavo in the qualifiers, and honestly, that's pretty impressive For those wondering, Tavo, he's an up-and-coming Latin American Terran player, and he's been performing very well recently. He's not at the top. He's not like your Kelazar or your Special or even Chaos Fate, or even Terran, but he's still a very strong player, and for Cats to defeat him, like, is definitely an impressive feat.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes, especially because in the past he was known for very interesting builds, so I'm looking forward to that.
Definitely, because I have to imagine he didn't beat Tavo straight up. It probably wasn't standard games.
Maybe he killed his Reapers.
Maybe. Like, I have to imagine proxy hatches were involved, and like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
probably.
maybe Overlord drops. Like, if you're an old school StarCraft fan, then you have to be a fan of Cats. Like even indirectly, I remember when he was coaching Su and who else? Dong Regu as well, and like giving them builds. I want to say I'm not too sure about BL, but I know Su for certain. Like, he would give him builds for GSL, and you could see when they pop up, because you would see like these wonky builds, and they would work. Yeah,
I mean, it's like a surprise. Like, when you don't know how to deal with something, like, it can catch you off guard. So like, it can really work out, especially like in the shorter kind of games.
Yeah, Cats has always had a great mind, not the fastest hands, but a great mind. And that and he made up for it in that way. But yeah, I can't wait to dive into Group Stage 2. As you can see, the Liquipedia page hasn't been updated yet, but it will be in the coming days with the new groups. And we, of course, will be casting that next week.
Yeah, we don't know which groups yet, but look forward to that.
Exactly. As with that, we are done for this evening, or this morning, or this afternoon, depending on where you are. Or this night. And as we are wrapping up here, Kuro, why don't you tell the people, who are you? I did see a lot of people in the chat were like, yo, who are these casters? I know you don't typically cast even on this channel.
I am the casting t-shirt. Hello. Ta-da! No, in all seriousness, I'm not the typical caster on CranKy Ducklings. I am one of the co-founders of CranKy Ducklings, and typically you can see me more behind the scenes, like taking care of the technical parts, like making overlays, making social media posts, like, that kind of thing. More of a technical part rather than being in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But also you can find my work here and there in the StarCraft scene. Like, I'm part of StarCraft Esports, the Twitter and Facebook accounts. I am part of Juked, for example, for StarCraft calendar. I am part of SC2 Birthdays, which is the Twitter with reminders for birthdays. I made the StarCraft sign-up list with tournaments that you can take part in. It's a page that's hosted on Wikipedia. It's a user page. It's not main space page, but it is a page on Wikipedia. So anybody with an account can actually edit it. It doesn't have to be me. Hint, hint.
Yeah, exactly. Like Kuro, as well as myself, we work on a lot of projects other than just the CranKy Ducklings. So if you're interested in that, then check us out on Twitter and stuff like that. Wait, you made that? Yes, Kuro did make that. The StarCraft list, the one with the countdown timers and all that stuff. There have been periods where it hasn't been updated, and we do apologize for that. But again, we try our best to take care of that page whenever we can. As we do try and update it with all those.
There's just so many events going on that it's hard to keep track of everything, and
it is all manual.
Yeah, this is all manual. This is like somebody sitting there and copy pasting the formulas and including all the info. So players have easier time checking what's going on, because there is a lot of events going on that nobody just hears about.
Exactly. But thank you so much, Disrespect. It's great to hear that you use it. I know not everyone knows about it, but it has been a thing for a number of years now.
I think I checked recently. It's been like 4 years or something.
I remember when we first made it. 4 years. Crazy.
Yeah, I would. I think I have it like on Reddit or something.
Crazy. But yeah, we do work on a lot of projects, of course. StarCraft Esports and SC2 Birthday are the other big ones. But yeah, consider checking us out there. Meanwhile, you can follow me at light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I do stream occasionally throughout the week. You know, some ladder sessions, some Final Fantasy. Nothing too serious. If you're interested in our casting, all of our casting is done here on this channel, on the CranKy Ducklings. So yeah, be sure to hit that follow button. We are live throughout the week. We are going to be live in less than 12 hours. I believe in 9-ish hours with Master Swan Open. That's a tournament that we have also been running for years. It's an amateur tournament for essentially for Masters players, Masters 2, Masters 3, Masters 2 essentially. We do have an MMR barrier. And yeah, it's our way to kind of cultivate the scene and give motivate players and give them a reason to compete and improve and eventually break out into that GM scene. We've seen a couple of players like achieve that and kind of graduate from our tournaments. So yeah, if you're interested, then you can tune into that as well. Otherwise, thank you so much everyone for watching. Yeah,
I will say for all amateur players, the important thing in getting very good is to not be discouraged by being beat, okay, by other players.
Yeah,
because I see a lot of players being like, oh, I'm facing, I don't know, Cham. Oh, I have no chance. And they just like straight up quit the tournament, for example, like, you know, playing in an open tournament. Like, that's not the mindset you want to have if you want to get good. Like, you still take those games. You may not win them, but maybe you will learn something. Or maybe you will, like, you know, do that little thing, like, correctly. And, you know, you can pride yourself with that, like, you, I don't know, you sniped this building, or like you kept up with macro game to certain points. Like, there are like small things you can work on rather than focusing if you're gonna win the specific match.
Yeah. There's definitely, again, mindset does come into a lot of that, and working on that.
Because ideally, with players like that, with players who don't give up, like we see them rise to ranks. Like we have Oreo, who's been playing since the beginning of our tournaments. We have Starduck. We have Ruichi. He was also starting as Diamond in the tournament. So, you know, these players eventually rise to the top.
Yeah, we have other players like Exodash and Geohen, you know, some other Southeast Asian players who actually now are GM. So it's great to see. It's great to see them improve over time and break out into that 5K plus scene. But yeah, with that, thank you everyone for watching. We appreciate the support. We hope you enjoyed the tournament. As a reminder, because we didn't mention it, all the coupon codes have already been used, but !Matcherino in the chat if you want to have a look at the Matcherino page. You can contribute to the tournament itself if you wish. Otherwise, there are coupon codes, but I believe they have already been used up.
I think there may also be some sponsor quests. I'm not quite sure if they're on NA Apprentice site, but check for those, because there might still be a way for you to contribute without donating your own money.
Exactly. You can see them there. You can see there are Twitch rewards for following certain accounts on social media or YouTube. You can see the Alpha X is there, as Alpha X is one of the main sponsors of this tournament. So yeah, you can definitely check all of them out as well if you wish to help boost that prize pool. All the money goes straight to the players. It doesn't go to the admins or the casters or anything like that. And I guess one of the other big sponsors is Some Drunk Canadian. He's another caster, one of Alpha X's casters. You know, he also does provide a lot of content for the scene, and he does support the NA scene as best he can. Same with Fear Dragon. Massive shout out to Fear Dragon. He also contributed 200 USD to the prize pool. Massive shout out.
Yeah, he's always been supporter of the NA scene, and he continues to do so.
That he does. And with that, thank you everyone for watching. We will see you in our next tournaments. And stick around if you want to give some love to another StarCraft streamer. Very fitting. Uko. I'm torn. Uko and Vindicta are currently streaming. So one of them is going to get a raid. They're both NA. Who do I give it to, Kuro? Uko?
For no reason, just, you know.
Okay. I was gonna give it to Vindicta because he has less viewers right now.
Look, you asked. I gave you an answer.
Oh god. Alright, you said it. We'll give it to Uko. We're gonna give him some love. Stick around, give him some support. He's another NA player who is going to be playing. They're both going to be playing in NA Apprentice, so give them plenty of love. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Ciao.